Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be President of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 2.
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8th electoral vote, in Indiana with its 11th electoral vote, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Cobra Cast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of the 199. Happy to see all of you here today. We got a lot to get into. There's a lot of stories that are breaking right now, but I've seen a few people very upset in the chat. They said, I can't believe Jeremy is still defending Trump. I can't believe Jeremy, the guy that's been a Trump supporter for the last 10 years, can't believe he's supporting Trump. So I just want to dedicate this to all of those losers.
It's
And now that we got the soy boys out of here, the people that thought that Jeremy was almost there, he's almost there, guys. He's going to turn on Trump now completely. He's almost there. Well, bad news for you. The check from Israel came in, and I am good. So I am completely caught up. We have everything. Check is cleared. We are good to go. So, I guess you can go back to watching Ian Carroll or someone else because I'm not almost there. Okay, so anyway, let's get into it. So I actually today was going to talk about the negativity surrounding the Epstein stuff because it still bothers me. I still have a lot of criticisms for the Trump administration and the handling of how they've approached this whole thing. And I stand by all of that, sarcasm aside and all of that. I stand by all of that. But a story just broke, okay? And there was lead up to this story. And there was a ton of anticipation surrounding this. Now, let me remind you that the Wall Street Journal, I have had a deep hatred of the Wall Street Journal since they made me a PewDiePie fan. Because as I've said, PewDiePie, back in the day was the biggest YouTuber in the world, and I never watched his content. I never did because I was like, I don't care what this guy has to say. It's not my, not my speed to watch his garbage, whatever. And then the Wall Street Journal came out with an article accusing him of being a Nazi. And I'm like, the guy has 50 million subscribers. How in the hell would this guy be a Nazi on YouTube with 50 million subscribers? So I started to watch his content, and I found him to be incredibly funny and incredibly entertaining. And of course, he then doubled his subscribers and went from 50 million to 100 million after the Wall Street Journal hit piece came out, and it only made him more popular. They are the definition of fake news. And so we started to hear stories that the Wall Street Journal was going to drop a bomb on the Trump administration. Oh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge right here. President Trump pressuring the Wall Street Journal not to publish this potentially explosive story on his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, man, that sounds really bad. Trump may not survive this one, guys. It may finally be over for President Trump. This may be the end. The Wall Street Journal is about to drop a bomb on Trump. Everybody was talking about it. Wall Street Journal is working on new details about Trump's relationship with Epstein, and Trump reportedly wants to stop it from being published. He reportedly called Wall Street Journal's editor-in-chief to try and kill the story. Oh, man, this sounds really bad. This may be the end for Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. What is the story, you may ask? Well, here's the story right here. The Wall Street Journal releases an alleged letter from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein on Epstein's 50th birthday. President Trump says the letter is a fake thing, and he says he is going to sue the outlet. The letter involved a hand-drawn woman with a text that read, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." God, man, can you not even try to make a believable lie? Good Lord. Trump drawing a woman? What? President Trump says the 2003 letter is not him. This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story. I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women. It's not my language. It's not my words. I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal just like I sued everyone else, he said. Holy crap. Dude, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how Trump does it. Trump right now is dealing with the biggest PR nightmare we have ever seen from his base. And it's and I've said this before. I'll repeat it again. It's primarily an online thing, but it's still a problem. And the Wall Street Journal comes out with this story, and just unifies everybody again to make them realize that the media is the enemy of the people. Someone says, why am I MAGA? Well, I'm a MAGA supporter because I want illegals like you to be kicked out of the country, just like we're going to deport you from the chat. We're not going to deport you from the chat. I actually want to keep you here so I can monetize you. But yeah, MAGA hoodie stays on. MAGA hoodie stays on. Now back to the story at hand here. So this is what they do, though. The media does this, and completely you lose any credibility of, like, there's valid criticisms of Trump out there. I've had a lot of them in the past week. I've lost hundreds of subscribers staying on this story. And I said I'm not going to back off of the story. I'm not happy about it. And I was prepared to talk about the continued fumbling of the Epstein story today. And here's the Wall Street Journal dropping an obvious fake story about President Trump, to the point where even Elon, who's been criticizing Trump like crazy, by the way, even Elon comes out and says, this is ridiculous. Elon Musk doubts the Wall Street Journal bombshell story that Trump sent a bawdy letter to Epstein for his 50th birthday. It really doesn't sound like something Trump would say, to be honest. And this is what the media does. They have completely botched this so badly. Now you have J.D. Vance. Breaking: J.D. Vance just torched the Wall Street Journal for the bombshell Epstein story against President Trump. He says, wow, he just decimated whatever credibility was left. Forgive my language, but this story is complete and utter bullshit. The Wall Street Journal should be ashamed for publishing it. Where is this letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump? Like, this is insane, dude. This is absolutely amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And so I can't believe it, but this is the media in there just doing what the media constantly does. And how can you take them seriously ever? You can't. You know who you can take seriously, though? John freaking Murdoch for a $50 super chat. Thank you, John. Says, hey, Jeremy, I heard you were from L.A. and gay. Also, that you used to work retail. Can all of those things be true? Seems impossible. What's up, John freaking Murdoch? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you, man. And so, yeah, this story is a gift. But this is what Trump constantly does. He constantly works the media like no other person can. If Donald, now again, what has my criticism been? My consistent criticism of the Trump administration has been their handling of the Epstein story. That's it. And I've been very clear about that. I don't go back and worry about all this other shit. I talk about the handling of the Epstein story from the administration, which I think has been completely terrible. It has been a disaster. And there's no excuse for it, to be honest. There's no excuse for it. But when he put his True Social post out, you do have to think about it. You go, wait a minute. You know, so Trump's fury in this truth post from yesterday morning makes a lot more sense, given we now know Trump got wind of the ridiculous Wall Street Journal hit piece ahead of time. It all adds up. Rumors of the incoming Wall Street Journal story reportedly began swirling a day and a half ago. This makes sense because Trump was getting criticized all last week after the DOJ Epstein memo came out, but Trump did not sound this upset until yesterday. This is when he put this out there. And again, while I do understand where he's coming from a little better now, I still put the blame squarely on Trump's shoulders and his administration's handling, because as I have sounded like a broken record by pointing it out, and I will continue to point it out over and over again, his administration did this with a stupid stunt like this. And this is what has led to so many people within the base bringing it up And I stand by those criticisms, and I will not back off those criticisms. With that said, the Wall Street Journal has made a bigger fool of themselves today. Holy shit. This is absolutely amazing. And I really do appreciate them basically giving a layup to President Trump. How are they this dumb? You'll never know. We'll never understand it. Z-Herb says, it's Jover for Trump. Kamala was right. Kamala was right about what? Actually, I had to reference Kamala with this story because I said this Wall Street Journal story, it's about as believable as Kamala's freedom story. If you do remember Kamala's freedom story, that's how believable the Wall Street Journal story is. Kamala Harris and her ridiculous lies all the time. Burbshit says, give me the client list, give it to me raw. Greedy Graffiti says, did you see Anna Paulina Luna and Nicki Minaj talking to each other on X? Wild times. We need Anna twerking in a Nicki music video. You know, I did see something about Anna Paulina Luna right here. Hang on. I think I have a bookmark of it. Let's see. Right here. Yeah. Anna Paulina Luna. I guess she wants Jerome Powell for perjury. So she is referring Jerome Powell to the DOJ to investigate perjury regarding his crazy $2.5 billion building. So I don't know about that. Now, in terms of this right here, Greedy Frida says, did you see the Anna Paulina Luna and Nicki Minaj talking to each other on X? Wild times. We needed Anna tweaking in a Nicki Minaj music video. Let me be clear. I know we meme a lot here on this channel. And, you know, like, we have to be respectful of the fact that Anna Paulina Luna is an elected official, a very upstanding citizen, and a great American patriot. And if you have a link to the video, please send it to me for research purposes, of course. For research purposes, okay? Did I say tweaking? Twerking. Sorry. The moment that we had the image of Anna Paulina Luna potentially twerking, I kind of lost focus. But anyway, let's be respectful, okay? She's a great United States citizen doing great work. But if you do have a link to the video, please send it to me for research purposes only. And that's just because I am a very good journalist podcaster. Okay. So anyway, all right. Thank you, Greedy Graffiti. I did not see her talking to Nicki Minaj though. So I did not. Super Friend Demand says, thoughts on Trump's leg swelling drama by the lib media. We'll talk about that. It's just another ridiculous media story. I don't buy into it at all. But I did see it. Logan Miller with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, Logan Miller. Appreciate you, brother. 10 gifted memberships. People for the People becomes a new member. Thank you so much. NDI says, it's my 24th birthday and I'm doing my GED right now. God bless. LFG, good luck, brother, and happy birthday. Mike Hill says, Stephen Colbert will come to an end next year. Yes, let's go ahead and talk about Stephen Colbert because that story is making the rounds right now. And so that's one of the reasons I went live with the old school intro, because I wanted to play Colbert in there. So, yeah, I got some amazing news for all of you right here. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert has been canceled according to Deadline. The show will be ending in May of 2026 at the end of the broadcast season. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away. CBS says the move was purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. How could this have happened? How could it happen when you did stuff like this? How could this have happened?
The vaccine.
I can't continue. That's it. That's all we'll play. It's a reminder to never feel sorry for these evil, evil people. Stephen Colbert is an evil person that you should never have sympathy for under any circumstance whatsoever. He is evil. And this is an evil tactic right here that the media and he were at the forefront of. Never forget. Never, ever forget. So, yeah, Stephen Colbert being canceled and his show going away. What was that? So when COVID was around, who was it? There was 3 or 4 of these late night guys. They came together for a podcast. So it was like Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert was, I don't know who these guys are. So you got Jimmy Fallon, Colbert. Was Kimmel part of it? And there was one more, I think. Kimmel, Colbert, Seth Meyers. Okay. So it was Fallon, Myers, Colbert, and Kimmel. They came together and did a podcast. And they only did a few episodes, to at least that I saw. I don't know. They may have ended up doing more. It was painful, the clips that I saw. And it shows you that these guys absolutely have no ability when they are not controlled by their environment and by their studio. It was unbelievable how bad it was. Was John Oliver part of it too? I don't remember if Oliver was part of it too, but you see how these guys can't operate in the independent media world where they need their notes, they need editing, they need their correct lighting, they need everything kind of laid out for them. And when they don't have that, they are completely useless. Was Conan on that too? Wow. That's sad. I kind of like Conan. But yeah. So Stephen Colbert deserves all the hate that he is getting for being an enemy of the people and being a very evil person for pushing the vaccine in the capacity that he did. Doesn't mean that, like, again, because we're on YouTube, I don't care. You can take 550 fucking vaxxers for all I give a fuck. But why are you pressuring other people to do it? Why are you pressuring other people to do it? Why are you a vaccine salesman? Kind of like Ben Shapiro was. Remember when little Ben Shapiro was a vaccine salesman? What was his exact tweet? Get the vaccine, dopes. Remember that? Interesting, little Ben Shapiro. We haven't forgotten that one. And we certainly haven't forgotten Stephen Colbert doing it either. So no sympathy for him. Jackson Cagle for 2 says, oh, baby. Mike S says, if it wasn't for Trump, MAGA wouldn't exist and Stephen Colbert wouldn't be fired. So fuck all the haters. Thank you, Mike S. Golden Nugget says, Jeremy was once a block away from his house and said, I'm almost there. What's up, Golden Nuggets? Casey Cheeto says, let's hear it again for Dancing Donald. Jason J says, Benny Johnson lied. No fucking way. About what? What did he lie about? Chronicling Mayhem says, did you see what YouTube did to ABF? Yes, I retweeted it and tagged Team YouTube, and you should do the same. Mo Kiss's family becomes a new member. Thank you. Gabriel Knight says, Stephen Colbert and The Late Show canceled. Lol, now cancel Kimmel and Fallon. Mike S says, first stage, tell everyone Trump draws a woman. Second stage, talk about how Hitler liked to draw too. That's what's going to happen. You know it. Phil for 10 says, probably the best journalist podcaster ever. I really appreciate that. I could be the single greatest journalist podcaster ever. If you eliminate literally every single other podcast journalist, then I might have a chance to be the best. That's just how it works, though. So, am I a journalist now? Absolutely. I am a journalist. I am a great journalist. No, I'm not a fucking journalist. Solid Felix says Trump should sue AOC for calling him a rapist. That's interesting. So if Trump actually does bring this lawsuit forward, and let's get back to that topic here for a minute, because, like I said, man, I have criticized Trump a lot recently. I stand by my criticisms, but I've also said consistently that I never even, for a second believe that Trump is actually caught up in this Epstein stuff. Because if he was, we all know that the Democrats would have used this against him. The same Democrats that are now calling for the release of the Epstein list. Those same Democrats were in power for 4 years and never mentioned the Epstein list, because the Democrats know that they're just leveraging it against Trump. It has nothing to do with the Epstein list. And so we know that they would have released any information on Trump if they would have had it. And to the fact of, look what the Wall Street Journal just built up as this massive story with Trump and Epstein. Guys, the base is criticizing him. We've never had a better moment to drop this massive bomb and just destroy Trump forever. And this is what they dropped. Holy shit. Like, this shows you they have nothing. Zero on him. Zero. And that's just the truth of the matter. You know, and listen, this whole story has gotten so crazy, and I've gotten to the point where I'm almost sick and tired of dumb people talking about things that they know nothing about. You know, like, what was it at? Let me find it. I commented on it yesterday. Riley Gaines, who was once a DeSantis supporter. She's like, was it stupid and foolish when he campaigned on releasing the files? I commented, he literally didn't. I swear, there's valid criticisms for Trump, but retards that don't do any research need to be checked. I didn't even see the quartering comment here. Donald Trump absolutely multiple times claimed he would release the Epstein files while on the campaign trail. No, he fucking didn't. No, he didn't. Is it a campaign promise? I guess you could argue semantics, but this feels like a code. On the campaign trail, he fucking was asked about it, and he gave half-ass answers about it. It was never part of Agenda 47. It was never part of his rallies or his campaign speeches, because unlike the quartering, I actually fucking watched all of them. Okay, I didn't jump on the MAGA bandwagon after it became cool and popular. I've actually been here since, the beginning. I've been here since the beginning, unlike some people. So I actually watched all of his fucking campaigns and his speeches, and he literally never mentioned Epstein once in any of them. Zero. Okay? So thanks for showing up when it was cool and convenient, but I've been here since 2016, way before it was cool and convenient. So, let's see. Yes, he did. Are you high? Hey, Chance Carter, why don't you show me a clip from his campaign speeches where Donald Trump mentioned releasing the Epstein files at any of his campaigns or part of any of Agenda 47? Please send it to me right now. If you can send me a clip of a campaign speech where Donald Trump said that releasing the Epstein files is part of my campaign, I'll drop 100 gifted memberships in the chat right now. Go ahead. Send it to me. My DMs are open on Twitter. Go ahead and do it. In fact, I think right here, look here. Campaign on, based on exhaustive reviews of the 2024 rally transcripts and reports from diverse sources, Trump did not mention Jeffrey Epstein or promise to release related files at any campaign rally. Such remarks were confined to interviews like Fox and Friends and Lex Friedman. Look at this guy. This guy was literally at every fucking rally. Brick suit, he's in the front row every time. So you guys have all seen him. He's at every rally. He never campaigned on releasing the files. Not part of Agenda 47, not on his website, not mentioned at rallies, not a campaign promise. He answered 2 podcast questions about it. At most, he said he would look into it. This is the truth right there. So again, you've probably been lied to by manipulative clips online because you're too stupid to do any research. And that is not my fault. That is your fault. But yes, he did answer a couple of questions during interviews, and he said, yeah, we'll look into it. And then in the Fox interview, he did say he kind of dialed back after he said, yeah, I'd be inclined to release that. But then he kind of said, that's a little more complicated. There's people that are implicated that have nothing to do with it, whatever. And he answered it on the Lex Friedman podcast as well. And there it is. That's it. But he did not, at any of his rallies, at any of his Agenda 47, any of his website, he never made it part of his campaign. And this is what stupid people don't understand. But of course, Riley Gaines, formerly a DeSantis supporter. So of course, why would you believe anything that she says? You know why she's well known in the conservative movement? Because she's hot. Okay. Give this bitch 50 or 75 pounds and nobody's following her. And nobody gives a shit about her. That's just the bottom line. But that's how Con Inc. works. If you're a hot chick, you get a lot of fucking follows and people seem to think that you know what the fuck you're talking about. That's the bottom fucking line. You don't have to like it, but that's the truth. And you know it. You know it, and I know it. So, Mike S says, if you don't believe there aren't powerful people funding most of the Epstein backlash towards Trump, then you've fallen back asleep. Well, again, so I think that I'm fine with Trump being criticized. I want him to be criticized. I want people to be critical of him. But I want people to be honest with their criticism and not be stupid and fucking retarded. And so if you just showed up to the Trump party after he got shot in Butler or after he started getting all the momentum, I don't really give a fuck what you have to say. I mean, you know, I know it was convenient, you know, to show up when it was easy and obvious that he was going to win. But some of us have been here since way before then. And I don't really give a fuck what those people have to say. I really don't. So I have far more credibility to criticize Trump because I've been a supporter before it was trendy and cool, or before it was algorithm friendly and cool. I've had videos taken down on this channel and that violated terms of service by YouTube just because I was defending President Trump. But of course, they changed those rules. It's interesting how certain YouTubers started to support Trump after YouTube changed the rules where you could actually openly talk about the election fraud of 2020. Suddenly, a bunch of YouTubers became Trump supporters. Oh, YouTube said we can talk about it? Really? YouTube said we can talk about it? Well, let me put my MAGA hat on, guys. Let me put my MAGA hat on. Somebody in the chat says you shouldn't cuss. What do you think's about to happen, chat? This guy said I shouldn't cuss. What do you think is about to happen? I will do whatever the fuck I fucking want to, motherfucker, and there's not a fucking thing you can fucking do about it. So go fuck yourself. If you don't like me cussing, go watch Tim fucking Pool. Because Tim fucking Pool makes sure to give you a family-friendly fence-sitting episode. Fuck off. Is that enough cussing for you? There we go. I Am Legend says, oh no, end of Trump, end of MAGA. It's over. We are done. It's over, baby. Freddie Rod says, for $9.99 says, doesn't Trump's actions make sense? He saw the deep state, put this bullshit in the Epstein investigation and reacted emotionally. That's why he says this is all fake, made by Dems. Okay. I do agree. Like, his actions do make a little more sense for sure. I still stand by my claims that the administration has handled this poorly. Okay. So let's go back to President Trump's True Social tweet where let me find it. Hang on. Hang on. Oh shit. I hope I can show this. Okay, so we meme a lot, okay? We meme a lot. But this is a very serious topic right now, okay? This is a very serious topic. Now, if there are any people that are very sensitive to the female anatomy, if you're sensitive to seeing that, I would highly advise you to not stay on the stream for the next few minutes. We got some juicy stuff from Anna Paulina Luna, ladies and gentlemen. And this could be very, 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 very tough. Okay. Anna Paulina Luna posted this on Twitter. Please don't show this to the Wall Street Journal. It's a hand sketch. They may think I'm a sex trafficker. Oh my goodness. Guys, Trump is done. Anna Paulina Luna is done. The Republican Party is done. MAGA is done. Democrats will win the midterms. We are done. It's over. So, God. Oh, no. What are we doing, man? Like, the Wall Street Journal thought this was going to destroy Trump. They thought this was going to destroy him. Back to your comment here, because I do want to, yes, doesn't Trump's actions make more sense now? He saw the deep state put this bullshit in the Epstein investigation, and he reacted emotionally. That's why he says it's all fake and made by Dems. To an extent, yes. To an extent, yes. But in the clearest terms that I can say it, my criticisms, I believe, stand on their own. The Trump administration has mishandled this Epstein story at every step of the way. That is the truth. There is no defense of their handling of it. That includes President Trump. That includes Pam Bondi. That includes Kash Patel. That includes Dan Bongino. They have all fumbled this to a level that is hard to comprehend, especially considering how good of a job that this administration has done on everything else. And this is the standard that happens when you do such a good job in so many different directions. This is what happens. The level of expectation is very high. And even with a low expectation on the Epstein story, they have fumbled it even with the lowest expectations possible. It has been a disaster. It really has. And so I understand where Trump is coming from with his criticisms now based on this Wall Street Journal story, but it still does not justify the actions of him and his administration with the whole entire Epstein story. That's my stance on it right there. It's James All Day says, I remember specifically Trump campaigning on immigration, fixing the economy, restoring law and order, and stopping wars. The Epstein files was brought up after being asked about it on Fox News. Correct. It was never part of Agenda 47. I have to imagine somebody's got Agenda 47 somewhere, I think. Let me see if I can find Agenda 47. I saw someone had posted it in like the replies or something like that. Actually, I think it was the replies of mine. Because, you want to talk about people like campaign. And it's like, no. Here it is right here. This is Agenda 47 right here. Let me see if I can blow this up. Open a new tab. Right here. Okay. This is Agenda 47. Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Here we go. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world. Stop outsourcing. Largest tax cuts. Defend the Constitution or Bill of Rights. Prevent World War III. Restore peace in Europe and the Middle East. End the weaponization of government against the American people. Stop the migrant crime epidemic. Rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., strengthen and modernize our military, keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, fight and protect Social Security, cancel the EV mandate, cut the Fed, keep men out of women's sports, deport pro-Hamas radicals, secure our elections, unite our country by bringing it to a new and record levels of success. Nowhere in there is the Epstein files. Nowhere. But dumb motherfuckers are going to say he campaigned on it. No, the fuck he didn't. He answered a couple of questions during interviews. He never made it part of his campaign. You dumb fucks. It's that simple. So it's James all day. Thank you for the 10. Logan Miller says, remember when Riley was crying about men in women's sports? What the F does she think she's doing? I mean, she's a typical, fair weather Trump supporter. Again, she was Team DeSantis until, DeSantis flopped, and then she had to jump back on Team Trump. So Divergent Zen says, I don't really care about Epstein or his clients. I want Tulsi to come clean about what CIA, DHS, and NSA knew and did. Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew did not go unnoticed. Well, I agree. Listen, I'm still sitting here today telling you that I want answers to the Epstein situation for sure. I do. And I don't want those answers because Donald Trump answered a couple of questions in interviews. That means nothing to me because that's not part of his campaign. What's part of his campaign, what's part of his presidency is that his own attorney general invited a bunch of stupid influencers to the White House, gave them binders that said Epstein files phase 1, and the binders were completely empty, and we've never heard anything since. I also heard Kash Patel and Dan Bongino talk like they were neutered dogs in front of the cameras and sounded nothing like the Kash Patel and Dan Bongino that we knew from years ago. And I think that the American people deserve answers from the most transparent administration in history. And that's it. And I will just stand by that. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier says, Jeremy is not almost there, but he is almost bald 199. One day y'all find out if I am or not. Graham Parker says, who's hotter, me or Anna Paulina Luna? Chat, what do you think? This chick right here, health minister of Belgium, or Anna Paulina Luna? I'll let the chat decide on that one. Brian Stewart says, I posted a video in Locals for you. Run it back. Run it back. Man, we had a 6-hour Mario Kart stream last night. It was crazy. Vault 95 says, Trump said Trump approval went up, illegals out. His numbers are going up, and they're only going to go up even more because of this Wall Street Journal story. Tyler Watson says, can you use your Israel check to do a show with Dan where y'all talk exclusively about retro games that y'all revisit? It'd be cool. Jeremy. Since the check came in and cleared, I have a lot more capital now. So we probably could do something like that. Random commenter dude says, that foot swelling condition is very common. Media will report on that, but didn't report on Biden's cognitive decline until he left office. Yeah, so the media is going crazy over this story with Trump's health. Let me see if I can pull. I know I had a couple of bookmarks for it. I had all of that pulled up before the Wall Street Journal story broke, and I bookmarked a bunch of that. But yeah, so they're going crazy over this. The media is, because of course the media is. This is what they do. And they're terrible people. Let's see right here. Damn. It's a lot of health issue there. Health issue. Okay. All right. So here's what the White House said right here.
On another note, I know that many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today. In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. In keeping with routine medical care and out of an abundance of caution, this concern was thoroughly evaluated by the White House medical unit. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Laboratory testing included a complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, coagulation profile, D-dimer, B-type natriuretic peptide, and cardiac biomarkers. All results were within normal limits. An echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy. And the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness on a daily basis here. So the president wanted me to share that note with all of you. I'm happy to take further questions on it. We will provide the memorandum from the president's position to all of you, as we always do.
So from what I understand, and I mean, I had to dumb it down a little. I needed it dumbed down for me because, like, you know, I am from Alabama, so I didn't really get all those big words, you know. So, but this is very common. He's 79 years old. Now the media is running with this like it's over for him. It's completely over for him, and that the administration has been hiding stuff and all of that. I saw one post, which is pretty funny, if I can find it. All right. I got to find that. I wish I would have bookmarked it. It was one of these stupid gay pop culture accounts that posted it. And right here. Okay. So this Pop Crave right here, Donald Trump has been diagnosed with, chronic, venous insufficiency. So somebody in the comments said, this sounds serious. So it says it's a condition where blood doesn't efficiently return from the legs to the heart. Blah, 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 blah. This can lead to a range of symptoms, including not releasing the Epstein files. That is good. All right. That is freaking good. All right. I mean, memes are always the way to go. All right. So, fantastic. So, I saw that. And when I saw someone said this sounds serious, I'm like, oh shit. What does it mean? It sounds serious. And I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, that's good. That is good. So, that's a really good meme. So respect to that person who probably hates Trump, by the way. This person probably has TDS, but a good meme is a good meme. So that's really good. Credit where credit's due. JB username for 20 says, hail, I've been enjoying the streams. Thanks. Thank you for all you do. No homo. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. Oogive over on Rumble for 20 says, hey, retard with a mic. Don't tell anyone, but judges have sealed the Epstein files. The judges need to unseal the files. Yeah, I've heard those stories going around too. I mean, listen, that's the thing about this is with Trump with Trump saying he's going to sue the Wall Street Journal. I mean, I don't know how much that opens him up to being investigated, about it, but I can't wait to see how this all plays out if he actually follows through with the lawsuit. I mean, this is a blatant lie. Anybody with common sense can just tell you that this is an obvious lie, what we're seeing right now. Corey Wilson says, I feel like Trump has a plan. If he wanted to go away, he'd stop. If he wanted to go away, he'd stop talking about it. He knows, but I'm so tired of hearing about it. I have Epstein as a muted word on X. I hear you on that, brother. Let's see. Mazda Salamanca says, Jeremy, where you been, bruh? Almost missed Jessica Lindstrom's birthday. Can you wish Jessica a very happy birthday? May all her wishes come true. Look at that, Jessica. They still love you in the chat. They still love you in the chat. Joe Bits Toys, what's up? Says, did you get my IG message? I sent an epic custom Trump action figure video. Let me know what you think. Be honest, hail the 199. I never check Instagram, but I can. I do not run my Krista has access to my Instagram. I don't do anything with my Instagram. But I can check it. I mean, I do have access to it. I just never post over there. I'm not an Instagram person personally. Krog Based says, if Trump's family threatened, then why is deep state owned? Let's see. If Trump's family threatened, then why is deep state owned Democratic Party demanding Epstein list release? Threatened bear to silence, then poke the bear. Yeah, I mean, well, the Democrats don't have a foundation of anything. The Democrats simply exist to be a contrarian to whatever Donald Trump thinks. That's ultimately what it comes down to. The Democrats only operate in opposition of Trump. The Democrats were in power for 4 years and never mentioned Epstein once. Now suddenly they care about Epstein? Really? Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So Emerald Eyes says Biden's DOJ had 4 years with those files. They could have easily redacted anything implicating their buddies and crucified Trump if they had it. This is true. Sexy Moon Goddess becomes a new member. Thank you. Mike S says, I watched a ton of his rallies here with you all. He never mentioned Epstein a single time. Nope. Never happened. Mar Millen for 10 says gay. Null Face for 20 says it's completely normal. Many people get venous insufficiency over time by standing too much or sitting too much, especially flying a lot. Moderate surgery, a few weeks off feet, and wear compression socks. Nothing burger. Well, like most things, I mean, and we do know that, I mean, look, you can say, the media can say whatever they want, but we know the truth about President Trump.
I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it. I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. I look at Joe. I don't know about him. I don't know. Macho man, yeah.
There we go. So he's a young, vibrant man. Sean Living, where'd it go? Sean Living Life says, what do you think about what do you think is about to happen? Chat me. Kalel, no. The memes on that have been great, by the way. Jerry D. Seals says, hail D. Dud Cobra. Despite you being gay, your humor makes our day. Putting woke on its rump like our President Trump. Hail. Thank you. Hail from the Sith Lord Poet. Thank you, sir. Peter Sharon, member message for 31 months. Mike S says, by the way, Trump's approval rating rose since last week. It did. It did. Sola Felix with the 99 cent. Thank you, Sola. The Omega TJ says, I don't know if I can keep watching because you do say fuck a lot. I do, and I'm not stopping. So Mike S says, the comedian was right. Everything's a joke. Rob45 says, I would rather see charges filed than names published in the Epstein file situation. They have to be careful. I agree. Maui says something big changed this past month or two. Trump mentioned the aisle twice around 2015 before anyone outside of Alex Jones ever heard of Jeff. Very weird. Vault 95 says Trump's leaning defies gravity. Ankle weights sensible. Brian for 5 it says, got my IDOT alligator t-shirt. It's freaking awesome. Hell yeah, man. Those actually are ending tomorrow night. So if you have not, please go over to our Teespring store and get your Alligator Agent 199 merch. IDOT shirt. That's what it's all about right there. So I'm glad you are enjoying it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Let's see here. And that is in the links in the description, in the pin post, I'm sorry. So you guys can go check that out. Glad you guys are getting those in finally. Bubs420 says, don't care if Trump cures cancer. I won't support anyone who covers for pedos. It's beyond politics. It's about evil swamp creatures, and Trump is one. Fair enough. You don't have to vote for Democrats or vote for fucking libertarians. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Daffles TV says Trump War Room campaigned account said he would declassify. Okay, but he didn't. So he said he would take a look at it every time. Let's see. AD says, did you see the Joy Reid on Pierce Morgan clip? I actually have that pulled up, but I think I have to reshare my browser. Give me just a minute here. I think I have to reshare my browser. If it will work. Let's see. Okay. Did that work? Let's see. Tell me if you guys can hear this. Tell me if you hear this.
Because Joy Reid, who hosts the Joy Reid show on YouTube.
You guys hear that? Because this is funny. Because I only watched a little bit of it because I saw a few clips. So this is pretty funny.
YouTube joins me now. Joy Reid, welcome to Uncensored.
Before we get started, JRG Projects for a 50 Says, this is an opportunity for MAGA to start looking beyond 2028. One of our biggest questions in the future is the next MAGA candidate. And if we are willing to push back now, this means MAGA won't fade away like the Tea Party did. Thank you, JRG Projects. And I do agree. And it seemed like I'm not ready to anoint JD Vance as the man to carry MAGA forward, but he's definitely the front runner at this point in time. I love JD Vance. JD Vance is fantastic. And I believe that he has everything it takes, but I'm not ready to just blanketly anoint him yet. But he is amazing. He really is.
Piers, thank you for having me.
Well, we've never met, I don't think. We've never spoken to each other. I think we've locked horns a little bit on social media in the past. I think I'm blocked by you on X. I can't remember what crime I committed, but probably Trump-related. Just first of all, what Barack Obama has said and what Chris Cuomo said there, has that given you pause for thought about what the Democrats should now do? Because it's all very well just shrieking constantly about how evil Trump is, but it clearly hasn't worked now twice. You know, the fact that the guy went away for 4 years and then came back and won again was an utter repudiation of the tactics to beat him, wasn't it?
Well, first of all, I'll say I have not blocked you on X Twitter because I haven't been on X Twitter since Elon Musk acquired it. I actually left the platform. So
of course, you just have to get the anti-Elon comment in there before we get started. Of course, you have to get that one in there. Of course.
There might be someone posing as me who's blocked you. So
I think it was prior to Elon's purchase.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so this is an interesting conversation because there is no one who is more obsessed with racial identity politics than Donald Trump. He ran the most
Let's hear that one more time. This
is an interesting conversation because there is no one who is more obsessed with racial identity politics than Donald Trump.
I'd like to introduce you to a person named Barack Hussein Obama. I would like for you to go back and listen to Barack Hussein Obama's speeches back in 2008. And at the time, it was very subtle, but it was clearly agenda-driven around identity politics. And Barack Hussein Obama is the reason that identity politics and racial division was elevated in this country, especially after his re-election that he won. He took it to a whole nother level.
He ran the most racial identity politics-laden campaign that I've seen in my lifetime, and I've been following politics since I was 12. The point of his campaign was, if I was to sum it up, that immigrants, whom he identified as gang members from Venezuela, as people from S-hole countries, as essentially any non-white migrant or immigrant.
When she says S-hole, she means shithole countries is what President Trump referred to them as, shithole countries.
The country were vermin who were poisoning.
Well, he was talking about criminal, illegal immigrants. He was talking. Well, hang on. He was talking. You can't misquote him off the top. This is my point, though. This is my point. I remember. Let me just say something, Joy. I remember when he won in 2016. I was at the New York Knicks the next day with my eldest son, and Chris Rock was there at the next table. We got talking. I said, "Why do you think Trump won?" And he said, "You know why?" He said, "If someone's murdered 8 people, stop going around saying he's murdered 9. And he didn't mean Trump had actually murdered anyone. What he meant was there's plenty to criticize Trump about. I've done it myself many times. But there's also a lot of stuff that resonates with people. And I think it's the...
that is literally what I just said. That is what I just said. There's plenty of stuff to criticize Trump on this Epstein story over. When you take it to a stupid, ridiculous level and you start making shit up that never happened, then it just makes it to the point where, all right, fine. If that's how you want to be, I don't care to have the conversation with you. If you're just going to make shit up, then what are we even doing? You shouldn't even be taken seriously. And this is always how it happens with President Trump, is that people can't just criticize him on the facts. They have to make shit up and add shit to it.
over-exaggeration, the over-demonization of Trump is part of the problem. And your characterization of his depiction of immigrants, you said the word immigrants. Actually, what he was talking about repeatedly on his stump in his rallies was specifically illegal immigrants who come in illegally, who are criminals, who are already convicted criminals, who've come into America across the southern border in huge numbers, who are criminals. He wasn't talking about non-criminal immigrants, as you tried to put it there. So there is a difference.
False. No, first of all, it's absolutely false. Let's talk about, for one example, the Haitian immigrants in Ohio. These are people who were in the country on a legitimate visa, who are actually improving that community by taking jobs desperately.
Improving the community? What? Oh my God. Oh. Improving the community? Are you fucking kidding me right now? This is why you are jobless, Joy Reid. Holy shit.
Where people desperately needed to hire and did not have any, enough American-born employees, and they were hiring these folks. They were taking badly needed jobs. They were improving the community economically. He accused them of eating people's cats and dogs.
Yeah.
He characterized them as if they were animals.
Yeah,
these are people who his own administration had allowed into the country on a legitimate visa.
But I agree with you.
First of all, I'll stop. Let me just.
But I agree with you.
So his all-encompassing term about immigrants being vermin and poisoning the blood of the country was all-encompassing because it included them. And in his mind, it included anyone who he said came from an S-hole country, meaning if you came from Nigeria, if you came from the Gabon, if you came from any country in Africa, he in a blanketed way depicted immigrants, again, with Nazi terminology, vermin.
Well, let's leave Nazis out
the blood of our country.
You know what? Whenever people,
wait, let me.
Yeah, but Joy, whenever it's taken you what? It's taken you 4 minutes, and you've called him a Nazi already. Come on.
But and now, what we're seeing are masked federal agents.
Hang on, I have to, just because she brought up the eating the dogs, we have to play it. This is the rule. You brought it up. We have to play it. We have to play it.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Seeing red, so don't push me. Ain't Donald Trump trying to grab him by the... Said it was some Haitians somewhere out in Springfield. Women doing cartwheels.
Have you seen Garfield?
Eat the cat.
Have you seen Snowball? This about to snowball. I'm about to go off. I can't let this go on. Miss me like an airball. Tell me where my cat is coughing up like a hairball.
Eat the cat.
I gotta tell them if they even put the fingernail on Santa's little helper to turn them to hamburger helper. Somebody better help them, cause I'm going to jail for showing them fellas helter skelter.
Eating the dog.
Usually I'm content, but if you touch my dog, then I'm turning into John Wick. I'm lit. Bird better drop it. If you touch my pet, then I'm pulling up like CrossFit.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Why do I feel like Krista Nova is the person that edited this video? This seems like something Krista would edit together.
It's a shame, it's a pity. Thought overseas where they said Hello Kitty, but it ain't there, it's right here in your city. When I turn my back, now the cat goes missing and where my peoples is at. Does anybody know where he flipped with that? Cause I heard they putting claws on felines, I'm mad. And my cat disappeared just like Felix the cat. And they eat the cat. Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat.
Eat the cat.
Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat.
Drop that cat.
So good. All because Joy had to run her mouth. All right, back to the interview.
Joy, whenever it's taken you what? It's taken you 4 minutes, and you've called him a Nazi already. Come on.
But and now, what we're seeing are masked federal agents sweeping up cooks, abuelas, people who work on farms, picking up dishwashers, any brown person. And Tom Homan said, based on one criteria being their appearance, it's overwhelmingly brown and some black people. We're not seeing them sweeping up white folks on the street. Donald Trump ran a racial identity campaign. And yeah, this is America. That is appealing to, unfortunately, a lot of Americans.
Well, actually, it would turn out to be very appealing to Latino Americans who voted for him in record numbers. More Latinos voted for him than voted for Kamala Harris, the non-white candidate. More Black Americans, African Americans voted for Trump this time round than first time round. So for
Not
this,
true.
for this,
Statistically, it was the same. The same number of black Republicans voted for him that always
more
do.
Black
No,
Americans
same.
voted for Trump
Google
this
it.
time than
It's
last
the
time.
same. It was the same. And by the way, this is the other challenge. There is a phenomenon, and my family are immigrants, and there is a phenomenon among immigrants of slamming the door behind themselves. And by the way, more Latinas, women in the Latino community voted for Harris. But there is a phenomenon. If you talk to people who actually are in the community and study this and spend a lot of time on it, journalists who studied it, there are a lot of Latinos who want so badly to identify with Americanness that they identify against fellow immigrants. That is not a new thing.
No, but maybe they weren't identifying. Maybe they weren't identifying. But Joy,
that's not new.
Maybe they were just
blackness. And
maybe let me respond to
the Latino
that.
community is not new. It's
let me respond to that.
This is the poster child for TDS. Like if you've ever needed like a physical example of what TDS is, listening to Joy Reid respond, this is what Trump derangement syndrome is. She has it, and she has it probably worse than anyone, or at least as bad. She's up there with the Mark Hamills of the world and the Keith Olbermans of the world. She is that bad. She is fucking insane.
Maybe they were just sick and tired of people like you, and I say this respectfully, but people like you constantly calling Trump a Nazi. Maybe they thought it was ridiculous.
Maybe
to compare,
don't call people vermin and say they're poisoning the blood of our country. That's not the terminology. Don't use it.
You have repeatedly, over the last few years, called Trump a Nazi. Now, the Nazis were the most despicable, awful human beings we've seen in 1,000 years. They murdered 12 million people, 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Trump is not a Nazi. So when you do that, you thought it. Let me finish.
You've just done what you normally do. I have said he uses Nazi terminology, and that's a fact.
Right.
Saying people are poisoning the blood of our country, that is Nazi talk. That is what I have said about Trump. I will stand by it, because if you're calling people vermin and saying that they're poisoning the blood of our country, you are lifting language out of the Nazi playbook. That is very different from saying that Donald Trump is perpetrating a Holocaust such as in the 1930s.
Right.
But what he is doing is straight fascism. That's not me saying it. Mark Milley, his former Joint Chiefs of Staff chair, said that he's a fascist to the core. His former Chief of Staff says he's a fascist. And the things he's doing, masked men snatching people off the street, not even showing any identification as law enforcement.
Let me ask you a question.
Men dragging women,
Let me ask you a question.
children into vans, fascism.
You've made this
straight
point.
up. I will stand by that any day.
Let me ask you a question about immigration. It's a very interesting topic at the moment, as you rightly observe. What are the fruit you eat to stay healthy is actually making support health. Already been viewed energy, the health. This is healthy. So my view, for what it's worth, as somebody who is an exceptional alien, is how it's described on my visa to the United States, but I have a home in Los Angeles, and I love America. I've lived and worked there for 20 years. My view is that most Americans, I think instinctively, do not have a problem with the principle of deporting undocumented workers who commit crimes in the United States. Would you have a problem with that as a policy?
As a policy, if people get a hearing and they go through a process, sure. But that is not what's happening.
No. Hold on.
Would you have a problem? I think instinctively do not have a problem. In my view, in Los Angeles, and I love America.
I want to hear how he framed this.
I've lived and worked there for 20 years. My view is that most Americans, I think instinctively, do not have a problem with the principle of deporting undocumented workers who commit crimes in the United States. Would you have a problem with that as a policy?
as a policy, if people get a hearing and they go through a process.
No. If you are here undocumented, you do not get a hearing. Get the fuck out. There is no hearing. If you didn't have to have any process to get here, then you don't have any process to get the fuck out of here. It's that fucking simple. If you are undocumented, you do not deserve a fucking hearing in this country. Taxpayer money does not need to go to you getting a fucking hearing. You need to be out. Period. End of discussion.
Process? Sure. But that is not what's happening.
No, I'm going to come to the next bit.
Hold on. That is not what's
Joy,
happening.
I'm going to finish my point.
It's not what's happening.
I wanted to see what you were prepared to agree with me about, because I think it's healthy to the debate, right? So we both agree about that, which is good. Now, I don't think that they should have pressed the button on deporting as many illegal immigrants who are there undocumented, but who've not committed crimes in the way that they're currently doing. That they should have sorted, first of all, people who are in the country illegally who commit crimes.
Okay, I got to stop right here. Okay, I got to stop this because we have breaking news from President Donald Trump. So, Danky, you're going to have to clip this part out and then we'll catch back up because we have breaking news right now. President Trump orders Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all grand jury testimony relating to Jeffrey Epstein, this scam perpetrated by or perpetuated by Democrats, should end right now. So there it is. President Trump, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam by the Democrats should end right now. Boom. That's why we complain. That's why we continue to let our voices be heard, because we the MAGA Americans want what we want, and we are holding this administration accountable for their own actions. Boom. Well done, President Trump. And I think that this goes right back into what I said. What did I say? What, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago at this point? Before Trump said anything really stupid about this, what did I say? I said there's people that think that Trump's part of the cover-up. There's think that this, that, and the other. I said, I think he just doesn't care as much as his base does. And guess what? I was right. Trump just didn't care about this as much as his base did. And now his base has made so much noise that he's finally realizing that this is an important issue. And so he is now stepping in and handling it. I was right again. There it is. So, there it is. Panicins, calm down. Okay? The world's not ending. MAGA's not over. Trump made several boneheaded decisions, and now he's finally trying to release all of this information to the public. There you go. Now, Pam Bondi is still an idiot because, to be fair, this is why Pam Bondi now we're at a point where Pam Bondi should be held accountable for this, because it's all something I often say. It's all relative. Okay. Now, I don't run Geeks and Gamers the way that I probably should. I should probably have a little more delegation, but I try to have my hands involved in everything. But a true efficient, business deals with people handling issues so that it doesn't get all the way up to the boss's desk. That's how a company and a structure runs. You're hired in, your job is to do this, and your job is to make sure that the only problems that go to the boss's desk are the worst problems and the things that he has to get involved in. Pam Bondi should have already dealt with this shit, and she hasn't dealt with this. And now it's gotten all the way up to Trump's desk, and now Trump is having to step in and force her to do her own job. She went on national TV several times. She said that the files were sitting on her desk, and she was nonchalant about it. Your job, considering you're working every day with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, how did you not realize that this was a big fucking issue? How did you think, like, you're probably going to get some Epstein stuff in the next few days, like it's some just casual thing? It's like, dude, this is a massive fucking problem. How do you not understand this? This is your job. You're probably going to get some Epstein stuff in a few days. You're like, what? So we'll see what happens here, but that's huge news right there. Sean the Great says, Media 2024, Epstein files are a fake conspiracy theory. Trump 2025, the Epstein files are fake. Media 2025, the Epstein files are real. If you've been with Trump since 2016, you've seen this play out 100 times now. That is pretty accurate, actually. So, well said indeed. But listen, regardless of that, I'm happy that Trump is finally getting involved with this. This is huge news. This is absolutely huge news. Massive, actually. Let me change the title so that people, if they're President Trump releasing Epstein files. Epstein files. Not Pam Bondi. Nope, Pam Bondi not doing her job. There we go. Thank you for the $20. Jeffrey Hill says, the one thing I want to see from the files, let's see, the one thing I want to see from this files, someone gonna go to jail like Clinton. I don't know if you're going to get that, but public exposure is definitely something that I think will do significant damage to people like this. And so you got to manage your expectations, man. So there's no guarantee for any of that, but publicly being exposed is definitely a good thing. East Coast Toasted Boy says he didn't campaign on it, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have to address things that are important on our behalf during his term. But that's what the president is supposed to do. We elected him. I agree, but that's not my argument. My argument is, don't say that he campaigned on something that he didn't campaign on. I agree that regardless if he campaigned on it or not, it's important enough to his base that it's gotten this bad. He should address it. But people like Riley Gaines, who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, should shut the fuck up. She doesn't know what she's talking about. So that's the bottom line on it. Criticize him, say he should address it, but don't make shit up. River Miles says, this bald dude with the lipstick is starting to look a bit like Letitia James with a wonky eye. I think we know who that's in reference to. Bounce for 20 says, he's a lot of fun to be with. This is hang on, guys. I don't want you guys to see this, because this is the quote from Trump about Epstein. Okay. He's a lot of fun to be with. It even is said that he likes beautiful women, much like I do. Many of them on the younger side, no doubt about it. Jeffrey Epstein enjoys his social life, younger side. Trump's done. Trump is done because this guy sent a $20 super chat on a low rent YouTuber's channel. Trump is exposed, guys. It's over. Man, the libertarians have just destroyed us. It's over, guys. We're done. The fuck are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Shut up, silly woman.
It's over. It is over. How will Trump recover? River Miles for $20 and says nothing. Jacoby says, trying again. I'm so scared about Trump picking up all the illegals. My mother-in-law is scared of deportation. Walmart. Weekdays gets off at 8:30. We all live in fear. I don't understand what you're saying. Are you saying this about you? I don't understand. Am I missing something here? Jacoby? I don't know if this is like sarcasm. I don't get it. Did I miss something? Yeah, is this like a whoosh? Did I just miss it? Okay. My bad. Hey, listen. I'm not that smart, okay? Thank you, Jacoby. Well, I know Jacoby's a huge supporter of the channel, so He's not trolling. Like, Jacoby's a big supporter of the channel. So thank you, Jacoby. Dark Shorts Rising for 20 says, why didn't Piers have her on a panel with Gary and Drinker? I would give good money to see Joy Reid on a panel with Drinker and Gary. I would pay good money for that. Jacoby says, damn, I can't send nothing. Yeah, so I don't know if you had to mix it. I missed the sarcasm because maybe the way you typed it, because I know you. So what's YouTube censoring you for? David Phillips says, hey, Jeremy, stop with the potty mouth. My 12-year-old, let's see, what is that? Scotch is listening. Yeah, well, so if you have a kitten or a puppy that's listening, I apologize for my language. That's been a problem here on this channel. If you're just tuning in, President Trump has ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to do her job and release all grand jury testimony relating to Jeffrey Epstein. Apparently, Pam Bondi has also posted. Let me see if we can find Pam Bondi's posting right here. Boom. Here it is. Breaking. AG Pam Bondi announces Epstein grand jury files will be unsealed tomorrow in court. Why didn't you already do this, Pam Bondi? Why didn't you already do this? Why did Trump have to get involved for you to do your job? Why did Trump have to get in there and force her to do her job? This is to me, this just continues to expose her. But dude, I got to post about this now. Hang on. Let's see here. Let me tweet about this. This is big. This is huge news. Everybody is talking about this now. Let's see here. All right. So tweet it out. VJ the Vigilant says, hey, Jeremy, I have a dog. And he says, you're a fig 199. Thank you, VJ the Vigilant. Thank you so much. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is huge news right now. And I do think, man, I don't know. I don't know how to see how this is all worked out. I think Trump, I don't think that Trump planned this to make the media walk into any trap, but I do think that he saw an opportunity at the height of the ridiculousness of the Wall Street Journal. I think he saw an opportunity here to say, this is the perfect moment for me to absolutely destroy these fools. That's what I think he did. Now, a lot of Trump fans are going to say, oh, Trump planned all this out and this worked. I don't think that's what happened. I think Trump sees an opportunity and he's taking full advantage of it. Let me see. So here's Pam Bondi right here. President Trump, we are ready to move the court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts. So we shall see. John freaking Murdoch for a proper 199. Hey, Jeremy, I'm here because you support Trump. I understand your criticism, but you support him anyway. Thank you, brother. And again, I lost hundreds of subscribers in the past week and a half by criticizing President Trump. I lost hundreds. And I never backed off of my criticism at all because, like I've said, I'm not here to pander to the losers that want me to go to their anti-Trump side, but I'm also not here to pander to people that are going to jump ship the moment that I criticize Trump. I'm just not going to do it. I have criticisms and I will share those criticisms. And so that's the bottom line. I haven't liked the way he's handled this. but I'm happy with the outcome now. And I will go back to saying exactly what I said. I don't think Trump cared enough about this topic like his base did. And considering he's dealing with the biggest problems in the world, and he's the most powerful person in the world, and he's the most impactful president in history, makes a lot of sense that everything can't be on his radar. But that still doesn't change the fact that it was botched by his administration massively. But here we are now. Some movement is happening because Trump is finally getting involved, and I appreciate you, John, greatly. But yeah, I mean, I've seen my sub numbers going down. So I've seen the sub numbers going down, and I was just like, well, if you were going to turn on me over this, you were going to turn on me for something else in the future. So there's really nothing I can do about that. Mark of Reality says, once the current state of the chain of custody, they've been around since before 2015. And I wonder if they're still admissible under the rules of evidence. That's a good question. Again, I don't think this Epstein story is going away. It's just beginning, as a matter of fact. So I think this is just a beginning. I mean, it's not like everything is just going to be cured tomorrow once the court documents pertaining to the grand jury files. I mean, this is just one element of it. So let's not act like this is just like, oh, it's over. But Trump is at least acting on it. And that's the positive aspect of this that we can take from it. Now, you know, the panicans are still going to be out there, you know, being upset, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, what are you going to do about that? Andrew CR says, I'm not that smart and water is wet. Jason Platten says, if Trump is not involved with the Epstein Island and he exposes the people who went there, he automatically wins the midterms. He has to get this off his back so Democrats have nothing on him. Well, I mean, let's be real. The Democrats have nothing on him. That's just the truth of the matter. These are all self-inflicted wounds of his own administration's mishandling of it. That's why they're in the position they're in. I know Trump doesn't want to admit that, and that's not Trump's MO. He never admits fault or anything. That's how he operates, and I'm totally fine with that. But they're in this position because of their own mishandling. The Democrats didn't do this. The mainstream media didn't do this. The Trump administration did this. And so the Democrats have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. Bounce for 10 says, I never said I was libertarian. No need to go hard on a guy who just said a quote from a guy who knew him since the 80s. It's okay to question everything. F you for the insult. I mean, it worked and got $10 more. So fuck you again if that gets me another 10. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Mike S says, have you seen anyone storming the Capitol or any town halls? No, that's how you know the Epstein outrage is fake and people are virtue signaling. Mall Kiosk guy says Trump's legs aren't swollen. The Epstein files are tucked in his socks. Watches this video. Paul Stella says, did you see Campia blame Superman failing overseas on Trump? I did. So Superman 25 is underperforming overseas, and John Campia implied that it's because of Trump. Yes, he implied it. He didn't blanketly say it's because of Trump. He simply said that, I'm going to paraphrase, but he essentially said that, well, you can understand why it's not performing overseas very well because America's not exactly the most favorite place around the world. There's a lot of negativity surrounding America for obvious reasons. He said something to that effect, like, Trump has destroyed America's perception around the world, so that's why people aren't going to see Superman. Fuck. Unbelievable, dude. Rise Tile says, I think artificial sweeteners should be priority. Madney says, Joy Reid, Piers really scrapes the bottom of the barrel to find guest. I know, first me and then Joy Reid. War Breer says, this is gold. James Eye of the Tiger says, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Mike S says, I really appreciate how Latinos can be white supremacists. We're diversifying. Zell Troy says, G2G Jeremy. Oh, ICE is knocking it because I'm 25% brown. Gotta go. What's up, Zell Troy? Zell Troy hung with me for 6 hours last night to play Mario Kart World with our locals members. It was insane and it was awesome. Agent M1776 says Joy Reid was called out for having Trump hair by Real America's Voice reporter before taking off the weave. Yeah, that Trump weave that she had was bad. Paul for 5 says Joy Reid went from copying Trump's hair to looking like Kevin O'Leary. Oh, God. East Coast Toasted Boy says none of the terms exclusive to Yahtzees. None of those terms are exclusive to Yahtzees, Joy. CG87343 says, would you go on Piers when Joy Reid was on? I'd pay to see you debate her. I don't know. I don't care to talk to any of these people. I mean, it would be good internet for sure, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't want anything to do with Joy Reid, man. She's a horrible person. Let's see. All right. So everybody from the Trump administration is now posting about this. Pam Bondi says she is ready to move tomorrow to unseal the grand jury testimony related to Jeffrey Epstein following President Trump's directive. Razor Fist says overdue, but it appreciated. Chris Cuomo torches the Wall Street Journal over Epstein story. Let's hear what Cuomo says about this Epstein story.
I get that he's pissed off, okay? And he's not wrong. This Wall Street Journal piece is a hack job, okay? Yeah. And he says he's suing Rupert Murdoch, who he, was his buddy. They have, Fox kind of made Trump,
Not
and
really.
He's suing the Journal. He's suing everybody. He says he did it.
Okay, Fox did not make Trump, Cuomo, you fucking retard. Fox did not make Trump. Fox did a better job of covering Trump, a more fair job of covering Trump than the outlets that you worked for. But Fox did not make Trump. Trump made Trump. Get the hell out of here, man. Good Lord.
Didn't write the birthday letter that they're ascribing to him, to Epstein for his 50th birthday. I mean, it's so stupid, okay? The Epstein story is about abusing kids who didn't have the power or agency to do anything about it, that rich and powerful people may have known it was going on and they got away with it. That's the story, okay? Yeah. It's not that Trump liked a scumbag.
Okay. That is a good point. Like, as much as Cuomo's an idiot, like this right here puts it into perspective as to what's the core of the Epstein story.
Okay. The Epstein story is about abusing kids who didn't have the power or agency to do anything about it, that rich and powerful people may have known it was going on, yes, and they got away with it.
Yes.
That's the story, okay?
Yes.
It's not that Trump liked a scumbag, okay? Now, I get that in the media, this is great because it's bad for Trump and he's going crazy and he's going to pump and move the story for the Wall Street Journal right now by saying it's fake and it's wrong, but it doesn't move the needle in the country. It's going to make you some money, Rupert. Great for you, just what you need. But this is why we can't get anywhere. The guy says, I didn't write the letter. The letter is meaningless. You put out the piece anyway, and there's no light on what really matters.
He's accurate. He's 100% accurate on that aspect of it. And yeah, I mean, why are we listening to the enemy? I mean, I listen to a lot of clowns on here just to hear their takes on things because it's interesting. But that in particular, he did make very valid points about at the core of the Epstein situation. That's what it's about. It's not about all the other stuff that they try to bring into it, because there's a lot of fluff around it. There's a lot of people that try to say things, but ultimately, at its core, it's about rich and powerful people that knew this was going on and did absolutely nothing about it. And of course, Trump has announced that he will be suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Rupert Murdoch over this Wall Street Journal story. Somebody in the chat says Jeremy is afraid to show the CNN poll. What are you talking about? Why am I scared to show the CNN poll? I need you to tell me why I'm scared before we move to like the next phase here. Why am I scared to show the CNN poll? Please explain that to me, because I literally have the CNN poll in my bookmarks right here. Like literally here it is. This is the fucking CNN poll. I had it pulled up to talk about it. So tell me why I'm scared to show the CNN poll. Please, please tell me. If you're relevant enough, I would know your name, but I can't remember your name. So tell me why. I'm curious why would I be scared to show the CNN poll? To show that it represents exactly what I said last week? Because literally last week, I said that the Epstein story is an internet story, that the normal, everyday Americans don't give a shit about it. That's what I said last week. And the CNN poll confirms everything I said. But you're saying I'm scared to show the poll. Let's show the poll that I'm apparently scared of that confirms literally what I fucking said last week.
I mean, look, I think this one's surprising.
Oh my God, the audio is so
All
low.
these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files, you might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior.
So his numbers, since the audio is so low, I'll just go ahead and tell you what they're saying. They're saying that Trump's poll numbers have gone up since the Epstein story has taken off recently. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about this, and while I kind of, understand that, because as I've said, as someone that, makes my living on the internet and is here on the internet more than I probably need to be, I recognize when there are internet stories and whether there are real world stories. And the Epstein story is dominated by the internet, not so much the real world, the everyday American, random people that are going to work, that don't spend all day on Twitter and Facebook, don't really care about this story. They care about illegal immigration. They care about the economy. They care about gas prices. They care about food prices. They don't care about the Epstein story because they don't know anything about it. But people on the internet do care about it. People that are influencers, all of that. I am caught up in that as well. And so I have no problem separating that. But his poll numbers overall are going up because, again, I was right. It's an internet story. So, but of course, I was so scared to show this story that proved once again that I was right. God, how do I continue to, how do I do this to just show that I was right once again? We are the internet tards. We, the internet tards, care. I agree. I care. You care. But the vast majority of everyday Americans don't care. And that's just the truth of it. It doesn't mean that we're wrong. It means that we are more plugged into this story than most. And we follow this and we understand it and we understand the ramifications of it. The people that don't care about it aren't wrong. They just don't understand the details involved with it. They don't understand the levels of it because it's not something they have to worry about working and raising a family and not getting killed by an illegal immigrant. Those are the priorities for the people that aren't plugged into the internet world. So of course their primary goal is like, hey, I hope an illegal immigrant doesn't kill me. Glad President Trump is getting them out of here. Well, I am too. And by the way, if that offended anybody, I just want to be very clear that I don't fucking care. All right, $20 from Jacoby. It says support. That's good support right there. Thank you, sir, for the $20. Milky IQ says unsubbing is a weak man's game. I'm never unsubbing. Us tards got to stick together. Hail the 199. Thank you. Let's see. Joe Bit says, yo, Jay, at Trump figure vid on X now and tagged you. Thank you, brother. I'll check it out. Let's see. Emerald Walker says, Baldy doing her I'm speaking BS. Oh, yeah, we'll get back to that. Cattle Dog, thank you for the member, new member. Warbird says, almost like it's a good thing when people push back. 100%. And I'm glad. What did I say in my... So I have my D-Day Cobra 2 channel that we kind of clip a lot of the segments of this, of my live streams out. We put on D-Day Cobra 2. And in one of the segments that I had, I said, I'm proud of MAGA for standing up and pushing back on this. I'm proud that so many people, this is why I've been wearing my MAGA hoodie so much, because I want to be clear that when I'm criticizing President Trump, I'm criticizing him as a supporter of him and the movement. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not a libertarian who's just going to jump ship every time something doesn't go my way. We're going to stand there and criticize it. And this is why MAGA is the greatest political movement in history. Nothing is even close. MAGA is the greatest, most influential and powerful political movement ever. And this is why, because MAGA people are individualists who stand up and push back when we are unhappy. And Trump, to his credit, has listened to a lot of that criticism. This has taken him a lot longer to realize it, though. And this goes back to like stupid stuff like Operation Warp Speed. Remember, Trump used to sit there and brag about Operation Warp Speed to the point where his own supporters would boo him in his audience. They would like boo him every time he'd bring up Operation Warp Speed. And finally, he got it through his head that maybe I should stop talking about this shit because they boo the fuck out of me every time I talk about it. And he finally shut up about Operation Warp Speed. Finally, because he realized, yeah, that's not a popular talking point, is it? And Trump hates to be booed. He doesn't like it. So, and so anyway, it speaks to MAGA. So I'm very proud of MAGA. And again, this is not over by a long shot. Okay, it's not like the Epstein situation is done and over with. All right, this is just the beginning. So, but things are happening, and that is a good thing indeed. Let's see here. Your Barmy says, he said he was black from the waist down. Steel Storm Gaming says that this is going to be another nothing, in my opinion. We want names. James says, all of a sudden, Democrats won't care about Epstein. Great move by Trump to control the narrative. Back to business. Vault 95 says, my cereal boxes are full again. Thank you, Trump. Brian Stewart says, it's all relative. Wait, the Alabama dating scene. Mike S says, Trump just made it so he wins no matter what is released. Just saying, super play here, playing to the base. Random commenter dude says, OMG, Joy Reid is dumb. By the way, is that Yahtzee playbook she mentioned available for pre-order on Ripison? Let's see. And again, thank you to everybody tuning in. We've had a huge day, a lot of breaking news today that we're going over. By the way, I want to talk about a story really quickly that I mentioned yesterday. And the reason I want to mention this is because I told you this. I briefly mentioned this on Cobra Cast yesterday. And I said this was going to happen. Okay. And this just shows you the mental illness epidemic that is facing our country right now. Okay. So this is video game / movie news for a minute, but there's a bigger story that I told you was happening. Yesterday, we got the official announcement that Princess Zelda and Link the casting announcements were made. And there were a lot of rumors that there was going to be this trans fucking weirdo that was going to be cast as Princess Zelda. Turned out that none of that was true. It was, basically a fabrication by a PR company. And so yesterday, after this announcement, you had all of these trans activists go absolutely crazy, which is exactly what I predicted would happen. And they have been targeting this young lady that was cast as Princess Zelda because they're unhappy because this trans weirdo named Hunter Schafer did not get cast as Princess Zelda. And they're angry. They're angry that a biological man didn't get a job over a woman. And so these people are broken. All right, broken. And so this is a Hunter Schafer right here. I'm sorry, this is silly. Anyone who was ever born to play Princess Zelda, it was Hunter Schafer. Okay, so I put out a tweet about this right here on this, and I said, I don't know where the fuck that trans flag is from, but the bitches there be mad ugly. This got a lot of people unhappy with me. This tweet got 22,000 likes. So the trans weirdos got very, very mad at me. But what's interesting is these people are unhinged. So Miyamoto from Nintendo, he's essentially the creator of every famous Nintendo game you've ever played and every famous Nintendo character. He is a living legend. Okay, he's a living legend. And he is heavily involved with the production of the Legend of Zelda movie. This is what one of the trans activists said about Miyamoto yesterday after the announcement of the casting for The Legend of Zelda. This trans weirdo said Hunter Schafer should be allowed to you-know-what to Miyamoto. Think about that. Think about that. And a lot of these tweets were going around. A lot of these tweets that were just like this. Mental illness is a huge, huge problem. These people are completely dangerous and unhinged. So that is my quick update on this story that I just wanted to let you know that, again, I told you this would happen. I told you these freaks were going to go after people. And saying stuff like this is common theme for a mentally disabled person. And so this is what they're doing. So anyway, that's the latest update on that. Back to the breaking news at hand about the Epstein grand jury files will be released tomorrow. And this is a huge story. Huge story. Let me see. This is everywhere. This is everywhere right now. All right. Anna Paulina Luna says that President Trump and AG Pam Bondi's decision to unseal Epstein grand jury files was quietly in the works behind the scenes. Now, the real questions. Will any reporters finally cover the FBI destruction of Epstein's evidence under the former deputy director of the FBI during the Biden administration? So there we go. That is from Anna Paulina Luna, who has a great personality, by the way. I respect her. Eric says they already said no list, no nothing to see. Mike S says 4D chess. Eric says he wants his mother-in-law deported. You fig. Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it now, but I'm retarded. So Diane K says that this is brilliant. Grand jury testimonies are under oath and sealed, so they shouldn't have been altered by the deep state. I don't know what is it. I don't know how to say your name, but I've been on Team Trump since 2016. What I think came out of left field was him punching down at his base. It gave off a basket of deplorable vibes. I agree. His comments. Listen, man. I mean, here's what my takeaway from that is. It was a bad play by Trump. But I saw a lot of people getting really, really, really like offended to a female level over Trump's comments. And I'm like, listen, when Donald Trump is upset or aggravated, he calls people names. We've celebrated it for the past 10 years. We love when Donald Trump calls people names. We laugh at it and we make fun of people that get offended over it. And now suddenly we're getting offended because he called people names that were pushing this thing that he didn't like. And I'm like, I thought it was funny. Like, I mean, it's not necessary, but it's like, are we really going to like get offended over a guy that we've celebrated calling people names for the past 10 years? And he fucking said something and now people are crying like little bitches. And I'm like, what are we doing, man? Like, it's what he does. He talks shit. It was a mistake. He knows it was a mistake. Whatever. Who cares? Like, there's some people that are pretending to be MAGA that are not MAGA. That's all I'm saying. There's some people that are pretending to be MAGA that are not MAGA. Or there's people that started to become MAGA after he got shot because it was very, very algorithm friendly on YouTube. Not going to name any names, but, you know. And apparently they have all the answers now. Mike S says, why can't people just let the man cook? GD. AJ says, guess who got their Uncle IDOT shirt yesterday? Hail. Let's go, man. I'm glad people are loving the Uncle IDOT shirt. That one's no longer available in the store, but the Alligator Enforcement Agent 199 shirt is available until tomorrow at midnight. Tomorrow at midnight. So make sure you go over to our Teespring store. It's in the pinned post right there. If you're interested in that, there's more stories that are coming out right now about this. So you see Anna Paulina Luna has this to say. I'm trying to see what other people are saying about this right now. What is this? Randy Fine announces federal legislation canceling the House's subscription to the Wall Street Journal following Trump Epstein hit piece. I've also directed my entire staff to delete their taxpayer-funded Wall Street Journal accounts. Americans shouldn't be paying for disgusting and filthy rags. I think Wall Street Journal is fucked right now. I think the Wall Street Journal is in serious trouble, and I think Trump is about to destroy them over this. Like, I think he is going to he's going to break them over this. What a day it's been, man. This has been a great day. Let's see here. So we got Stephen Colbert has his show canceled. The Wall Street Journal puts out a ridiculous story about President Trump, and now they're getting sued. President Trump has he's told Attorney General Bondi to release the Epstein files related to the grand jury testimony. Things are cooking right now. And this is why Donald Trump is the greatest president of all time. And I am proud that I have always been a supporter of him. And I didn't just start supporting him when it was convenient. But, you know, some of the DeSantis simps out there jumped on the bandwagon and then started to act like they have all the answers. He campaigned on it. No, he didn't. He didn't campaign on it. He answered a few questions in interviews about it, but he never made it part of Agenda 47. He just didn't. And that's the truth. But it doesn't matter. His campaign and his administration created all of this backlash. His administration created all of this backlash by their fumbling of it. And so they have to answer for their own actions, for sure. The Ant-Man channel says that, yes, he did, in all caps. Thank you for telling. You could just next time just say you're retarded. It would be a lot easier if you just say, I'm retarded. I say it all the time. But now we know that you're retarded and you do no research whatsoever. But no, Trump never made the Epstein files part of Agenda 47. That is a fact. Okay? And it's also a fact that you're retarded. And that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with being retarded. I'm retarded. Just admit it. Just admit that you're retarded and we can all laugh about it. All right? Let's see. So again, this is what Trump said right here. And he, again, Pam Bondi can't do her job, but at least Trump can have to finally get involved so that he can do her job for her, even though it was sitting on her desk for her to review. Sitting right there on her desk for her to review, but now Trump has to make her do her job. Let's see what else. Oh, by the way, so this is a crazy story. All right. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's kind of a meme story, but it is pretty funny and it was super viral all day today. I don't know how you end up in this situation, but there was this guy at a Coldplay concert and he apparently got busted cheating on his wife. It's really funny. And his response is what makes it even worse. Because it's like, how do you make it worse? But he made it worse. So let me pull up these couple of tweets. There's been so much Trump news now. I've lost complete track of all of my bookmarks. But it's just such a funny story. It's like, how does this happen? Well, you know, the internet is always going to internet. So, and it's always a fun time when you see stuff like this. So, okay. So here's, damn it. Where's it at? What's this guy's? I'll just put Coldplay because it was him and his side chick were at a Coldplay concert. All right, here we go. All right. So what a story, bro. What a story. Okay. So the CEO was caught on camera with his HR chief during a Coldplay concert in Boston. The pair was seen rushing to cover their faces in horror when they realized they were on the big screen. Oh, wait, either they're having an affair or they're very shy, said Coldplay's Chris Martin. According to the HR chief's LinkedIn, She has the trust with employees of all levels. I bet she does. I bet she does. So here's the clip right here.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Oh.
Holy shit, dude. This is bad. Now, what makes it worse is the CEO decided to respond, and he made it even worse. I want to acknowledge the moment that's been circulating online and the disappointment that it's caused. What was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake, playing out on a very public stage. I want to sincerely apologize to my wife, my family, and to my team. You deserve better from me as a partner, as a father, and as a leader. This is not who I want to be or who I want to represent the company I helped to build. I'm taking time to reflect and take accountability and to figure out the next steps, personally and professionally. I ask for privacy as I navigate this process. I want to express how troubling it is that what should have been a private moment became public without my consent. I respect artists and entertainers, but I hope we can all think more deeply about the impact of turning someone's life into a spectacle. And then he quotes Coldplay. He quotes Coldplay to end it and says, as a friend once sang, lights will guide you home and not your bones, and I will try to fix you. God. Oh, this is the worst response ever. This is so bad. He said what was supposed to be a night of music and joy turned into a deeply personal mistake. How was it a night of music and joy when you were literally cheating with your HR chief? What? Oh my God. Huh. That's amazing. A private moment. Yeah, the only thing I could think is it's fake, but I don't know. It's been circulating, so I don't know if it's a fake letter or not. But if it's real, it's unbelievably bad. So we go back to this right here. Here it is one more time.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
The fact that Chris Martin, I think that's his name, the lead singer for Coldplay, the fact that he even said they're even having an affair or they're embarrassed is amazing. Holy crap. So yeah, pretty bad situation to say the least. So amazing. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that story because I thought it was very funny. And the response was even worse. So there you go. Let me see here. Okay, so back to the top story. We are getting some Epstein information released very soon. I guess tomorrow. I think that the news of this really does make Pam Bondi look really bad. Like really bad. This is awful news for her, and it does show that, let's just call it like it is. If a man would have been in this position, the job probably would have gotten done. Just saying. If there was a man in this position, it probably would have gotten done. But instead, The man had to step in and do the woman's job. I mean, I can think of a name, Matt Gaetz. You know? What if a guy named Matt Gaetz was involved? You think Trump would have had to step in and deal with it? I think not. So we shall see. Okay, so earlier today, before all of this happened, if you're just tuning in, the Wall Street Journal released an alleged letter from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. You thought that CEO's response, if true, was bad? What the Wall Street Journal tried to do to President Trump is the most comically bad thing I've seen in a long time. They claim that President Trump sent a letter with a hand-drawn woman with a text that read, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Jesus Christ, man. Like, who believes this shit? Okay. Like, who believes this? And I was prepared to go live and criticize Trump over the Epstein stuff more because apparently I love losing subscribers. But as soon as this story broke, and I'm like, I can't not cover this. I can't not cover this story because this story is this is the problem with people that criticize Trump, is that they can't stick to criticizing him based on, facts. They have to build lies and over dramatize everything and blow things out of proportion. And essentially that's what's happened with this Epstein thing, where I think a lot of MAGA people had valid criticisms of President Trump. I consider myself one of them. But then you had tons of people that started to blow this so far out of proportion that it was just like, I don't even want to have this conversation with you because you don't even know what you're talking about at this point in time. And so, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I agree. Somebody in the chat, if the Wall Street Journal had any, like self-awareness, they should have made it say President Trump had a hand-drawn woman and the text read, "It's great when you're famous because we can grab them by the pussy." And then we probably would have been like, yeah, Trump would probably say that. I mean, at least learn how to lie a little bit better, Wall Street Journal. Come on. Good Lord, man. They can't even lie properly. Like, Trump saying something stupid like this with a hand-drawn, like, it's so dumb. Wall Street Journal wanted DeSantis, not Trump. I don't know if that's true. It wouldn't surprise me, but I can't say I know that's true or not. So anyway, this happened, and this created a huge discussion that was going on. And Donald Trump responded saying that this is fake. I had nothing to do with this. He then responded, and he is suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Rupert Murdoch. So this is going to be a huge problem for the Wall Street Journal. Now, when that happened, this is already creating a massive amount of memes online. People are making fun of the Wall Street Journal for their obvious lie. And then the massive news breaks that President Trump has now gotten involved. He's sick and tired of this. He says, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, he has asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce all of the grand jury testimony in reference to Jeffrey Epstein. So there you go, right there. So we'll see how this all plays out. Anna Paulina Luna said that this has been quietly in the works behind the scenes to unseal the Epstein grand jury files. So I'm happy President Trump is finally getting involved in this story. And it's not going away per se, but it is a very, very good start to kind of start to heal some of the wounds of the base that they have had over this. and I'm glad that we're getting somewhere. Valiant Renegade. Sorry, brother. I was on a rant when you sent this. I did see it come in. Valiant Renegade for a MAGA red. $100. Says, it's been a day. By the way, he can't be having an affair with her. He was at a Coldplay concert. Dude is totally gay by definition. What's up, Valiant Renegade? Hail to you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. MAGA red. MAGA red. Thank you. I see Adrian in the chat. What's up? Yeah, Trump handled this thing terribly. Like, there's no doubt about it. VJ the Vigilance says, I got that one. Jackson Cagle says, solid. Thank you for the $2 or the $5. Lame Legend says, 50% of the time, Jeremy is right all the time. 50% really? Oracle of Doom says, I'm a loyal and proud member of the 199. We got your back. Thank you, brother. Mike S says, I still think this is all theater to build up to a point where they all release a snack and pretend it's a meal, then close it. Now Trump wins either way. I don't think it's theater to the point where I think Pam Bondi looks really bad. I think Pam Bondi looks horrible in this situation right now. Sinestro says, Jeremy's almost there. Just a few more $50 super chats and he'll be almost there. Almost. Philip Johnson says, on behalf of B Ounce, Jeremy is gay and inbred. That's, Super Steve says, DK Bonanza tonight. Not tonight, but I am planning on playing it this weekend. So next week I'm traveling. So Cobra Cast will still happen. It just may not, it may not happen. I'll try to do a Cobra Cast every day on the road, but so I'm going to try to play Bonanza this weekend if I can. Mike S says, this was a Trump trap and they fell for it. Salvatore says, scanning in. Hail, brother. Thank you. Slain Hope says, those kids didn't get to go home. They're all dead. Mike S says, I think we're finally witnessing the beginning of Trump's revenge on the mainstream media and their billionaire controllers that hate him. Matt Frog says, Fredo is like the N-word for Italians, Cuomo. Mike S says, Trump is the best president of my lifetime. Same. Tyler Watts says, no more Joy Reid, Jeremy. I can't take it. Well, we did get distracted off of that one. Mike S says, no, he was punching paid Twitter influencers. Zinni Biscuit says, Wall Street Journal is about to look like Iran's nuclear places, and there will be much rejoicing. Yay. Mark of Reality says, love tonight's show, sir. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate that. Snooty Mims says, Mod Eric, hardest working mod I've ever seen. Hail Rumble chat. We got some real badasses here. Hail Cobra Cast. Hail Geeks and Gamers. Hail Rumble, the free speech platform. Hail chat. Let's go. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Your Barmy says, sounds like he should have hugged a man. Inspector says, just got here. What's going on? Is Trump releasing the files because it looks bad? Trump's POV, fine. I'll do revealing anything. I think that Trump, again, I will stand by what I've said. I think Trump just never cared about it to the point that his base did. And finally, he's just become aware of how big of a problem this is. And he's finally getting involved. The Tennessee Tornado says, just once, I want to see a statement that simply says, yeah, I did her. And Valiant Renegade for another MAGA red $100 super chat. The lawfare of the anti-American left. This is such a stupid, unforced error on such a political non-issue as per polling that it defies belief as to how bad this was handled. I agree. I do agree. Like, I can't comprehend how they've allowed themselves to be caught up in this position. I can't understand it. And you're right. It is a non-political, it's a political non-issue per polling. Most Americans don't know about it and don't care about it. They don't understand it. But now more people are on top of this story than ever before because of the disastrous way that this was handled. It's really mind-blowing. Let's see. Brad Garrett for 20 says, stop picking on Riley Gaines. She was the first athlete to speak out against men and women's sports. Maybe she supported DeSantis, but she supports Trump now, who has done a great job removing men from women's sports. I'm not picking on her. I'm picking on her lying. So I don't give a fuck what she's done. If she's lying about President Trump, then she needs to be called out for it. She lied about President Trump because she's too dumb to do the research. And so she deserves to be called out. I don't give a fuck about being friendly with her. I don't give a fuck how many followers she has. I don't give a shit. If you're going to lie, then you need to be called out for it. It's that simple. He did not campaign on the Epstein files. That is a fact. He just didn't. And she's too stupid to realize that. So she repeated it and she needs to be called out on it. So, Andrew CR says, breaking it. Jeremy sent a letter to Beardo with a drawing of a banana and the legend. And may every day be another wonderful secret. Mr. Bentham says, my 3-day-old just turned to me and said, Papa, why is the balding eyebrowless man swearing so much? And I said, I don't know, honey, do better. That's a heartbreaking story, actually. It's a heartbreaking story. I'm so sorry. Oh, by the way, John freaking Murdoch dropped a proper 199 earlier. And I did not celebrate in the proper way. Proper 199. Proper 199. John freaking Murdoch. Thank you, sir, for the proper 199. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Everybody respects this in the chat. Thank you.
Should I do it?
Do not come.
Come on, baby. Come on. I'm going to do it.
Do not come.
I'm going to come. Beautiful white paint. It's coming down at 10,000 miles an hour. It's coming down at levels of speed that nobody ever even conceived of. Where it's rough, but it's coming and now it's turned around. It turns around and it's coming and it's going to, I said, oh, because you see at that bottom, this section right here, that sucker's, oh.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump says, I'm going to sue his ass off after Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal hit piece. The Wall Street Journal printed a fake letter supposedly to Epstein. These are not my words, not the way I talk. Also, I don't draw pictures. I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam, that he shouldn't print this fake story, but he did. And now I'm going to sue his ass off. And this and that of the third-rate newspaper. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Boom. Dude, Trump is pissed right now. He is not letting up. Let's go. Hell yes. Jimmy Ray says, it would be easier to believe Anna Paulina Luna if she was wearing a different suit. UP says, I tagged you on Twitter of a Beardo AI video. I'm scared to look at it. Slane Hope says the cheating story apology was proven to be fake. What the image I read, it was fake. Damn it. That would have been great. Spectre says 199. Thank you. Valiant Renegade says 13 months of wasted money on Jeremy. At least not as big of a waste as 5-year membership to Drunk 3PL. Hail Valiant Renegade. Thank you, brother. Josie says Krista looks like Anna Paulina Luna. If everyone super chatted $1, would she do a layout in Anna's American flag bathing suit? Could possibly reach 1,000. That's a question for her. You'll have to ask her. I doubt it very much so. That's not her style, but I'm sure if I could grift that, I would, but that's not, Krista doesn't do stuff like that. So if I could grift it, I would though. Mod Eric says, Stephen Colbert, replace Colbert with Lex Luthor's monkeys. It would be better. Let's see. East Coast Toast Boy says, Joy, wait, square mustache man, drink water, and Trump drinks water. OMG, Trump's a Yahtzee. But for Jeremy, take a swig for the working man. Hell yeah. East Coast Toast Boy says, you know what would make the cross-dressers even more mad if Hunter was cast as Link? Oh, you cast a woman as a man. How insulting and troon-phobic. Yeah, these people are broken, dude. They really are. Let's see. There. Mod Eric says, I think people are most upset about Trump ran on protecting kids. Him saying he died years ago is basically telling people Victims need to get over it. It was years ago. I don't know what you're trying to say there. People want the criminals brought to justice no matter what. They are celebrities, politicians, and business leaders. Essay of kids is not a joke or should not be. Well, I agree with that. But again, criticism means that you need to be factual. It's that simple. If you want to be factual about what President Trump said, then be factual. But the media has spent the last decade lying about President Trump. And when his own supporters are lying about him, then they need to be checked and called out. Valid criticism is valid criticism. Lying in order to be fake offended over something should be never taken seriously, no matter who the fuck you are. I don't give a shit how many followers these people have or whatever. If you're lying, you should be lying. You should be exposed for lying. It's that simple. So, let's see. Phil says, if you get a chance, check out Alan Dershowitz's take on the Epstein situation. He was Epstein's lawyer and knows exactly what the list is. He completely exonerates Trump. I've seen those clips of it. Yeah, I mean, that's been going around for a long time. I have seen those. I don't have the exact thing pulled up right now, but I have seen it. Let's see here. So yeah, Trump is going scorched earth on the Wall Street Journal, and I'm happy about that. Again, I'll repeat what I said, that Wall Street Journal, I'll never forget when they went after PewDiePie. PewDiePie, for those that don't know, used to be the biggest YouTuber on the platform. He had about 50 million subscribers at the time. And then the Wall Street Journal put out a hit piece on PewDiePie, calling him a Nazi and saying that he was pushing Nazi and Hitler rhetoric to his followers. And up until that point, I'd never watched PewDiePie, never cared about him. I always dismissed him. And when I saw that hit piece from the Wall Street Journal, I was like, there's no way this guy can be what they're saying he is. There's just no way. Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. That is insane. And so, yeah. So I, checked out his videos and I was like, this guy's funny. Wow. This guy's entertaining. This guy's awesome. And that's when I became a PewDiePie fan. And so I've always hated the Wall Street Journal since that moment. Probably should have hated him long before that, but they've always been a trash, site, website, newspaper, whatever you want to call them. And now I really hope that Trump destroys them. Now, what's interesting about this is, let me show you this. So we've got this from President Trump, and we had the stories. So Trump actually did probably call them and say or not, they probably hit him up. And they probably were like, hey, we've got this story. And they probably told him what it was, because we got these reports before the story dropped. And it says President Trump is pressuring the Wall Street Journal not to publish a potentially explosive story on his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And now with what Trump is saying right here, that means Trump probably did call them and say, what are you talking about? Don't do this. I'm going to sue the fuck out of you if you do this. And there it is. The Ant-Man says, stop glazing Trump. Okay, well, first of all, we've established that you are probably like a 19-year-old fucking loser, because you're using the term glazing. So that means that you're a fucking loser, a trendy TikTok loser. No grown man unironically uses the word glazing. It just doesn't. Okay. Secondly, if you're upset about my glazing of Trump, you know what? We're just going to have to do it.
死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。絶望の匂いだ。面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなにガチンが多すぎて。お父さん。あかん。ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。アメリカ、万歳、ファイト。絶対負けないよ。ランドスライドまで。ゼロ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。おい、仲良くしてるね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだった。おおきにまた グレートになるかも。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコを掴んでいいさ。そうそうそうそう。やらせるで。
There you go. I'm telling you, man, the more you complain, the more I'm just going to do the very thing you don't want me to do. That's just how it works around here, especially when you use the term glazing. Unironically, that means you are gay and retarded. And I'm not even memeing. You're actually gay and retarded. Not in the funny, like, we're friends way. Like, you are gay and retarded if you use the term glazing. Glazing, I learned that word on TikTok 20 minutes ago, and now I'm going to use it in the YouTube chat to talk shit. What a loser. Anyway, back to the story at hand, though. Fuck that guy. Let's see here. You've got to be a retard, seriously. Like, absolutely. What the fuck are we doing? All right, let's see. Bone Breaker says, Jeremy, I lived in the Harvest Tony area of Alabama. You are the Bobby Eaton of streams. Look at there. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. I respect that. I respect that. Forest of the Trees for 10 says, damn this YouTube update. Anyway, I hope those kids get a genetics test. I doubt their dad would be at a Coldplay concert. Thanks for keeping us informed. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Over on Rumble, True Mr. Gentleman says, we are having a very healthy debate about what Trump should do with the Epstein files. Then the Wall Street Journal comes in with all of the energy of Beardo bringing up space invader sex. Yes, it's exactly what happened. Mod Eric says, if anyone thinks anything of value will be released, I have a big red bridge of just north of San Francisco to sell you. I will give you a bargain. It'll be interesting to see. And I think managing expectations, because here's what's going to happen now is that the people that have been on top of the story, like, people are going to have their expectations completely like astronomical. And then they're going to be disappointed by what we're going to get. Like, I'm not thinking we're going to get like everything. I just, I don't. But I think we're going to get something. And that, I think keeping the pressure up is necessary. Absolutely. With that said, Danky, if you're watching, we're going to jump back over to the Piers Morgan interview. So we're going to have to splice that back together. Zeltroid says, your Barmy is a broke wannabe who can't super chat more money than me. Damn, Zeltroid. Zeltroid, after your Barmy, says Johnny glazed the Mickey. And when asked if he had to suck his beak, holy crap. And then Zeltroid fires back. Damn. Let's go. We got a super chat fight. I like it. All right, let's pick back up on this story right here. We were watching this earlier and then the news broke. So let's follow back up.
And deported them. Everyone would agree with it. But I agree with you. The wholesale pulling of people off the street who may have been in America for many years, got families in America who pay taxes in America. You only have to talk to farmers to understand the devastating impact this may have. So on that, I would agree with you. But I also think that, and I hope you would agree, that Donald Trump has pretty much stopped completely the number of people coming over the southern border illegally. And under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, over a 4-year period, as many as 10 million people are believed to have come over the southern border illegally. Now, you must surely think that the Trump way of securing the southern border is better for the United States than the Biden way.
First of all, if those are Donald Trump's numbers about how many people came,
she can't even take the numbers. She is going to sit there and twist this and manipulate it. That's what they always do, all the time. Your Barmy for 50. Holy crap. Johnny 2Y Ben hero status now. Damn, Johnny. Johnny, you picked a super chat fight and your Barmy just stepped in and dropped a 50. Damn. Oh, backed it up. I didn't mean to do that. Fuck. Hang on. Where did we leave off? Fuck. Where was I at?
Just given me.
I'm sure going to tell me it's your main issue.
You've just given me a
Obama made some. There are
charge. If you were the border czar, Brown,
now is we have a system of literal terrorism against brown migrants simply because Stephen Miller does not want them in the country.
As you know, they're not all brown, as you know.
Well, the vast majority are.
Well, but you haven't answered my question also. If you were running the southern border, if you were in charge, if you were the border czar, what would you do? Would you let them all in, or would you stop some of them coming in?
The first thing that I would do is to look at some of the actual legislation that's been put on the table before. You have a very...
What does it got to do with the problem at hand right now? We have millions of illegal immigrants. I was at 1322. Okay, we'll back it up there. I want to make that point, though, but I'll go back to where I was when I skipped forward like an idiot. So, right here. Okay. Thank you, chat. Always the MVP.
At all. Trump's numbers about how many people came in over the southern border, I don't buy them at all.
What numbers do you buy?
Anything Donald Trump said.
What numbers do you buy?
Let me go on.
Well, how many do you think it was?
Let's just say it was.
Well, Joy, how many do you think it was?
No, let's just say I'm going to stipulate to you. Let's just say it was 10 million people. Are you asking your viewers to believe that 10 million people were in the country raping and robbing rather than working on farms, working on construction sites?
No, I didn't say that.
We have to recall.
Guys, they're just here singing and dancing and, planting flowers. And they're very peaceful, guys. They're very peaceful. Jesus.
So again, being in the United States without documents is a civil offense. It is not a felony. And so the reality is, if it was 10 million people, we have to ask ourselves, what is the pull? America has always run from the time that people who looked like me were enslaved on cheap labor, on free labor to start itself as an...
I want Piers to ask her, okay? I want Piers to ask her, do you lock your doors at your house at night, Joy? Why do you lock your doors? Or maybe you live in a white neighborhood and you don't. But do you lock your doors at night? Why do you lock your doors at night? Why do you lock your doors? Like, what if a person that is, running from their evil country and they just need to sleep at night in your house and you're just going to stop them? Like, but they're just there to sleep in your house. They're not there to hurt anyone, Joy. They're just there to sleep in your house. That's all. Zeltroid, back down. I'll pass. This is my first. This is the first of my long payment plan. Thank you, Zeltroid. I appreciate it.
Empire, and then on a constant pull of cheaper and cheaper labor. That is a pull that is pulling people over. And then, of course, there's the push of the destabilization in Central and South American countries. That is the push. That push-pull is a fact of life. And it was a fact of life when Donald Trump was president the first time.
But what's that got to do with how many come over the southern border illegally?
No, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with
it. If you, let's say where you end all undocumented migration to the United States, all that would do is put a burden on the pull part of it, because you have industries that desperately rely on farm labor, on construction labor.
But why shouldn't you have a system? But Joy, why
raising it to zero does nothing to change my life.
But Joy, why shouldn't people?
But what it's done is
why shouldn't people? Let me just ask you, why shouldn't people do what I had to do when I wanted to live and work in America? I mean, just go through a proper process and get accepted to be allowed to come into the United States. That is how a normal, well-controlled border works. So what you seem to be suggesting is that because America's economy needs a lot of workers, we should simply have a system where anyone can come in. And if that's not your belief, then how would you regulate the southern border?
I'm going to say to you that if the policy were applied the same across the board, that would be one thing. It's not. Marco Rubio's grandfather didn't do it the right way. He overstayed an order of deportation, stayed anyway, and was allowed to remain in the country. Elon Musk's brother says, and Elon Musk disputes it, but Elon Musk's brother said they overstayed their student visa, started a business which would have been illegal for someone on a student visa, were allowed to stay. They are white migrants, and somehow that was okay. What we're seeing is a selective enforcement of this outrage. If the person is brown, they need to be rounded up and put into quote unquote alligator Alcatraz, a concentration camp in Florida. If the person is white, we let them start a business and become Elon Musk.
Your terms are acceptable.
What's happening is that Stephen Miller has said he wants 3,000 people a day rounded up. And he has said he doesn't care where they have to get them. He wants ICE going into Home Depot. He wants them going on construction sites, going onto farms and dragging brown people and into detention. They're putting people in private prisons that are unregulated by the federal government. We've heard stories of people eating rotten food, having to use
But you still haven't told me what you would do.
She still hasn't answered the question. You got illegal immigrants running around this country in the millions. Some of them are very dangerous criminals. They are known criminals. What is your answer to get rid of them?
And so the reality is what we have right now is we have a system of literal terrorism against brown migrants simply because Stephen Miller does not want them in the country.
As you know, they're not all brown, as you know.
Well, the vast majority are.
Well, but you haven't answered my question also. If you were running the southern border, if you were in charge, if you were the border czar, what would you do?
My favorite thing is I see David Gale in the chat and he just puts bald in all caps. That's all he said was bald. So good. So good.
Would you let them all in or would you stop some of them coming in?
The first thing that I would do is to look at some of the actual legislation that's been put on the table before. You have a very small number of immigration judges who deal with people who are presenting themselves for asylum, which, by the way, is perfectly legal. It is legal to present yourself for asylum, but there are scarcely any judges doing that work. Multiple times, bipartisan, members of Congress, the House and Senate, have tried to pass legislation that would end.
Has she always had a Letitia James eye? Has she always had this thing where like the eye is like one of her eye looks like an illegal immigrant running from ICE? I've never noticed that about her. Not that I've ever watched her long enough to realize it, but like her eye looks like an immigrant running from ICE. It's crazy.
Increase the number of those judges. If you actually had enough people to adjudicate asylum cases at the border, it would make that easier. I've actually been to the southern border and looked at the process and looked at the previous version of detention that Donald Trump did in his first term. First of all, it was horrific and it was abusive even then to children.
And you was outraged by Barack Obama's deportation program.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
absolutely. And I think that Barack Obama made.
You were outraged over Barack Obama's deportation policy where he deported millions of illegal immigrants and you never fucking said a word about it. You are a lying mother effer.
Some compromises that I do not think were morally sound in order to try to lure Republicans into doing the immigration reform.
Do you know how many people he deported?
Since Marco Rubio
hang on. Do you know how many people Barack Obama deported in 8 years?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Well, why don't you guess?
She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know, yet she cares so much. She cares so much about the illegal immigrants and how they're treated.
I don't know and don't care.
Well, hang on. You don't know and you don't care.
What?
You've just given me...
Because it's not...
Dude, Piers is crushing her right now. Piers is setting her up beautifully right now. So you care about how illegal immigrants are being treated by President Trump, but you just said you don't know and don't care how many illegal immigrants were deported under Barack Obama's presidency, which is in the millions. I don't know how many it is, but it's in the millions.
You've just given.
You're trying to make the issue the southern border.
Joy. You've just given me Joy. Joy.
The point is,
Joy. You've just given me Joy.
Was not dragging women.
Joy. Let me finish. You've just
nursing babies apart and taking.
Joy. You've just given me.
I'm sure going to tell me it's your main issue.
You've just given me
but it's not my main issue. My main issue is that what we're seeing.
I'm trying to finish my sentence. You've
Please.
just given me a lengthy monologue attacking Donald Trump's aggressive deportation policy. And I've simply said to you, there was a Democrat, a black Democrat president of the United States for 8 years. I'm simply asking, given that you're obviously all over every detail of the Trump deportation policy, and given you were on the airwaves in America on a daily basis through Obama's tenure, how many people did he deport in 8 years?
I do not know. You'll tell me. I'm sure.
Have a guess.
But it's probably more than 1 million people. I'm quite certain.
Have a
because
guess.
I think each 2 million.
Right, it was 3 million.
There was more than that.
Okay.
I
And
think
your
it was
point
more than
being
that.
what?
Was it? I thought it was like 4 or 5, but maybe I'm wrong. But either way, that's more than Trump. So, and a lot of it's because Trump has faced so much resistance of, deporting illegal immigrants, whereas Barack Obama never got any resistance whatsoever.
Are you as shocked by that as you are claiming to be by Trump? If you're stressed about
one moment.
By the way, we always respect the grift, okay? But I've been on Piers Morgan twice, and he still doesn't know who Geeks and Gamers is. He keeps mispronouncing it. So
it is not deportations
many of them were
themselves that are
brown.
shocking. Wait a minute. Can I answer
in
your
fact,
question?
the majority were brown.
One moment. It is not deportation in and of itself that is what is shocking to people. There are two things that are shocking. Number one, well, I'll do three. One, it is not deportation to render someone to a third-party country they have no connection to.
I agree.
Rendering people to El Salvador is shocking.
And that's why he's coming back.
That was not done by Biden.
That's why that
It
guy's
was
come
not done
back.
by George W. Bush. All right. So that is shocking.
Yeah.
Number two,
That's why he came back.
people with deporting. Well, that's only one person. They deported more
The
than
case you're
200
talking
people
about, he's come back.
to that gulag. Yes, but they deported more than 200 people, 70% of whom CBS has determined had no criminal record
But why
whatsoever.
are you changing the subject
So
from
that's number
Obama's
one.
deportation
No,
policy?
I'm telling you, the three things that are shocking are not deportations themselves. It's deporting people, number one, to third-party countries like the Sudan, where they have no ties whatsoever, simply for the cruelty of doing it.
what ties do they have to the United States of America outside of that they are here illegally? What ties do they have to the United States of America? Why the fuck should they stay here? Why do we have to deal with it? Explain that one, Joy. Joy. Explain that one, Joy. JMNZZ450 says Joy Reid is not intelligent, discriminatory against people of different ethnic backgrounds other than mammal that is poisoning the blood of our country. Sentence articulated with subtlety to bypass YouTube super chat censorship. Thank you, JMNZZ450. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hail to you. The master of getting around the super chat censors. All right, let's continue.
Essentially paying.
Okay, but I asked you about your response to Obama. Obama deported more people than any president in American history.
If someone receives, Piers, my family are immigrants. If there's a deportation process, at the end of that adjudication, you are deemed to be deportable and need to be
But you're missing my point, Joy. Boy, I'm trying to politely ask you, do you condemn?
Is different from what we're seeing now.
She is trying so hard to avoid a direct question that she has set herself up for. And this is the problem with people with TDS, is that they don't actually care about the problem that they claim that they care about. It's that it's Donald Trump, so that they are offended over it because Donald Trump is involved in it. But when Barack Obama did it and did it in numbers that far dwarf what Donald Trump has done up to this point, they don't care about it. And she's avoiding that because she knows it's true.
My point, in the interest of fairness, do you condemn Barack Obama's deportation policy, given that he deported more people, let me finish, more people than any American president in history in his 8 years?
What an absolutely disingenuous argument here because what people are yes. No, I'm gonna explain it if you'll
You
allow
didn't
me.
even know how
It
many
is
he deported.
disingenuous because I just said that. First of all, I think it was a moral compromise that I disagree with vehemently.
A moral
that Barack
compromise.
Obama made to try to lure Republicans who were never going to really come to the table for immigration reform. I
Right.
disagree with what he did. But if there's a process for deportation, that's one thing. If
Okay.
you are rendering people with no process, if you are rendering them to third parties, and if you are kidnapping them off the streets,
Yeah.
as if this is 1930s Germany or South Africa in the 1980s, yeah, that is what I find objectionable and I find fundamentally fascist and will stand by that every day. What Donald Trump is doing is a moral horror.
I hear
and
you.
if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you.
I hear you. All I'll tell you is that Obama.
Hang on.
If you stand by
Right.
that, that
Here
is
we go,
what I
chat.
find
Hang on. Give me just a
objectionable
minute.
and I find fundamentally fascist and will stand by that every day. What Donald Trump is doing is a moral horror.
I hear you.
And if you can't see that,
Hang
I
on.
don't know what to tell you.
I hear you. All I'll tell you is that Obama deported a hell of a lot more people.
And fundamentally fascist and will stand by that every day. What Donald Trump is doing is a moral horror.
I hear
and
you.
if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you.
I hear you. All I'll tell you is that Obama deported a hell of a lot more people
But that
than
isn't
Trump.
the issue. The
And
issue
most
is,
of them were
was there a
brown. And
process
last time
for
I checked, Barack
deportation?
Obama isn't white. So it may not be
And
a
what does
race
that have
thing
to
in the
do
way
with Barack
you're
Obama being black?
telling me.
Now you're the one obsessed with race. You want to make this a racial argument. The argument is that the Obama administration,
You made it a racial
the Biden
argument.
administration,
Oh my God.
because Donald Trump
You said
on
Trump
attacking black
is
people,
deporting
attacking
people based
brown
on their skin
people,
color.
Well, it is.
Donald Trump attacks black people? Are you kidding me right now? Hang on just a minute. All right. Hang on. We got to show it. All right. Because, like,
when we have a protester inside, which isn't even very often, I say, be very gentle. Please don't hurt him. We had a case where we had an African-American guy who was a fan of mine. Great fan, great guy. In fact, I want to find out what's going on with him. You know what look at my African-American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
all right. Or, all right. Hang on. How can you say Trump is attacking? How can you say Trump is attacking black people? All right. When you have this right here.
It's also affecting the Hispanic people. And my numbers with the black and especially black men. I love black men. I love them. I love them. I have gone through the roof with black men. Black men. I don't do quite as well with black women, I must say. I don't know why, but I'm sure that'll work out too. But
what he does. He
Well,
plays
so
racial
did
politics
Obama.
As a matter of course. It is
Obama
what his
did it
politics
too,
are about.
only worse.
It's what his politics were all about.
Okay.
His politics are about removing as many non-white people clearly from the country as they can, 3,000 a
And
day.
that's what
That
Obama's
is
policy was
apparently
too.
the policy here.
That's what Obama's
apparently
policy
the
was
policy.
too.
No,
Only-
it was not. And there
only
was
as
no
we sit here-
rendering of people.
as we sit
there was
here-
a process for deportation.
as we sit here-
and you know that it's materially
As
different.
we sit here, Obama deported more people pro rata per year than Trump has
How
ever
many
done.
did he
Than
render
Trump
to
has
a
ever
third
done.
party?
Trump has
How
ever
many
done.
did he render to a third party? Because what he's also doing
You're
is
outraged
using
by
the
Trump, but
cruelty
you're
of the
not outraged by Obama.
I'm absolutely outraged by fascism and by
Sure,
snatching
but
people
Obama
off the
wasn't a
streets.
fascist
No
because
process.
he's
and
not.
absolutely,
Yeah,
I'm
and because
outraged by it.
Obama's got
Absolutely.
brown skin, he's not a fascist. Is that your policy?
Well, that's your simplistic, racialized way of looking
Actually,
at it.
it's
Because that
yours
is what
about
you're
Trump.
doing on this show.
It's yours
of
about
course
Trump.
It is.
Simplistic, racialized. She just described herself. This is called projection. She is projecting to peers what she really is every single time.
No,
But
mine is
let's
about
move on.
fascism.
I want to
And
move
Donald
on, 'cause
Trump
we-
is acting
I don't
like
want to
Idi
spend the
Amin.
whole
I'll
time
give you
talking
a
about
black
this.
person that behaves the way he does, trying to take people's citizenship away, denaturalizing. That's Idi Amin behavior. There's
Okay.
a black fascist that you can compare him to.
Okay, let's move on to. I want to just play a clip of when you lost your job at MSNBC. Let's watch this.
Hey,
My show had value, and
holy shit! I thought that was a deep fake. I've never seen this clip. So I apparently this is not a deep fake. I thought that was a deep fake.
MSNBC. Let's watch this.
My show had value.
Holy
and
maybe I have seen this, but I can't remember.
I'm sorry. that what I was doing.
Okay, I have seen this one.
Value.
I have seen it.
And value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. Whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Now, look, you're perfectly entitled to be proud of your show. Many people enjoyed your show for many years. You know, a lot of people at NBC were briefing that the reason was declining ratings post the election, a 47% decrease in your election, in ratings from pre-election. But you told Mark Lamont Hill on his show this.
After I said on my show that the reason Americans could relate to Ukrainians.
Look at his shirt. I have to play another clip now. I have to play another clip. Hang on. Oh, man. Like, what is wrong? What are we doing here? I got to find it, though. I probably need to upload some new clips to StreamYards. Is that it right here? Can't find it. Let's see. Well, yep, here it is right here. Okay. I think this is it. There's no audio on it, though. One of my favorite moments where he looks at this kid wearing a Futurist female shirt and he's like, Jesus Christ. Sounds a lot like something Vince McMahon would say. So that's what I see when I see this this shirt on Mark Lamont Hill.
In a way that they didn't relate to Palestinians, that Ukrainians are white. And so watching white people get their schools bombed was, you know, hit different. That hit our ratings. I mean, it definitely, we could see the loss of white viewers from that moment that I said that. Right. So they were like, we don't like the name calling. And also I'm a black woman. So, I mean, I'm sure it makes him angrier, you know, when I say things.
I had no idea she was a black woman until she said that. I just want to say, like, I had no idea that she was a black woman up until this point. Just like every time I watch Stephen A. Smith, I never know he's a black man until he says, as a black man in America. And I'm like, oh shit, he's black. I had no idea that he was black until he said he was black. So since Joy Reid has informed us she is a black woman, I would just like to play this for her.
Black girl magic.
There we go. All right. Thank you, Joy Reid.
Maybe because I am a global South person myself, you know, I mean, as a black person, we have a different empathy toward other global South people when they're suffering. And so we're going to come at that story from a different angle and in a different way and with different kinds of empathies. And I think that's not always received very well in the news business.
Now, Joy, I mean, look, let's be honest. I don't think you were fired after all those years because of your skin color or because you're a black woman. I think you were fired because your show just got increasingly unpopular. It happens all the time in TV. That's why you got let go. Why play the race card?
First of all, I love the fact that your play the race card is your version of the race card. You literally are so fixated on trying to racialize conversations with me, Piers. I find it actually quite charming.
You racialize more conversations
in your
tenure at MSNBC than any host in history.
All right, Mark. All right, Piers. And the bottom line is you take an entire conversation that I had with Mark Lamont Hill and pick the bits that you can racialize because this is your shtick. And I get that this is your shtick.
You racialize everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it. I understand this is your shtick, Piers. And listen, game recognized. I get this is your game.
It's not my shtick.
And the bottom line,
it was your
shtick. It is your shtick. And everyone knows
your
that it
shtick.
is. Piers, we
and people
understand
got bored
what
with
it is.
it.
And it is so interesting to me that you yourself, as a white European, find that when people of
dude, like, I don't know if she is just the dumbest human being on the planet. Like, or she just racialized. She literally just did it again.
That you yourself, as a white European, find that when people of color talk about race, that you believe is racializing conversations. But when people like you fixate on, well, Barack Obama was a black president, why don't you object to that? That is racializing a conversation about the former president of the United States. But you can't put your, and I'm sure you find that charming and funny.
I find it hilarious because you're the one. You're the one who said Donald Trump.
You and your friend Donald Trump.
You said Donald Trump is a white fascist.
Are so he is a well. I agree with Mark
Obama did the same thing.
Last time I checked,
I'm not allowed to mention his skin color.
I agree with his former chief of staff, who last I checked was not black and said he's fascist. And Mark Milley said he's fascist to the core. Okay. So I happen to agree, and I know this is what it's important to you, with two very white gentlemen about Donald Trump's fascist tendencies.
Okay.
If that makes you sad and uncomfortable, I can't help you.
No, it doesn't make me sad and uncomfortable. I think it makes you a little bit of a hypocrite, but that's different. Now, President Trump reacted to your departure by saying low-life chairman of Comcast, Brian Roberts, the owner of ratings-challenged NBC and MSNBC, has finally gotten the nerve up to fire one of the least talented people in television, the mentally obnoxious racist Joy Reid, based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent, should have been canned long ago, along with everyone else who works there. What's your response to that? Many of us carry around bulky, worn-out wallets that are uncomfortable and full of junk. Five same by using.
You are. I mean, it is.
Tell them I sent you.
If you are, I mean, it is. It's fascinating to me that you think it's important that I care what Donald Trump says about me. It's a badge of honor. If he dislikes me, then I think I'm doing something right. I have zero respect for Donald Trump, and therefore, if he
really, I mean, how would we have ever known that if you wouldn't have been? Again, I am learning so much in this interview, and I got to give Piers credit. Like, we have learned that Joy Reid is a black woman. I never knew this. I never knew this. Now we have learned that she doesn't like Donald Trump. This is incredible. Like the amount of transparency that she is providing us in this interview is truly historic, and it just shows what a phenomenal journalist Piers is. Piers is actually doing a great job, though. This is funny.
Feels the same way about me, then the feelings are quite mutual, and I'm very, very proud of that and happy with it.
Okay, I want to play a clip. This is you talking about you attacking parents who spoke out about their concerns about gay and pedophilia pornography books being placed in school libraries.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise?
Look at that hair. What is that? What is that? What is that? Holy shit. Donald Trump hair.
That you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read. What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so I'm going to answer
Please
for you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? I mean, that's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No,
Wait,
we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
Now, there's also a second clip. This is you talking about Republicans exploiting concerns by minors who identify as transgender. And you said this was an old age tradition which Nazi Germany did. Let's take a look.
In fact, there are more kids who have been exposed to gun violence, estimated at 3 million, than there are transgender Americans of all ages in total. Targeting trans people isn't new. It is an age-old tradition, which Nazi Germany did with brutally violent ends in the 1930s.
Now, the confusing part of all this, Joy, is what you really think about the LGBTQ plus, whatever it now is, community, right? Because as you know, when you started commentating about this, appearing to be a big ally, a lot of stuff emerged which came from posts that you had purportedly put up in a blog between 2007 and 2009, one of which said, most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Another said, I don't want to watch the two male characters in Brokeback Mountain. You were talking about having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. You referred to the then Florida governor as Miss Charlie and featured the tag gay politicians. Now, you said at the time when all this emerged, I genuinely don't believe I wrote those hateful things because they're completely alien to me. I hired cybersecurity experts to see if somebody manipulated my words or my former blog. And the reality is they've not been able to prove it. Now you're not at MSNBC. Now you're on your own,
Come on, Piers.
doing your own thing,
Come on,
and you
Piers.
don't have to worry about repercussions and stuff. Are you prepared to finally
Let's
come
go.
clean and
Let's
just
go,
admit
Piers.
that
Let's
was
go.
your blog and you did say those things?
You know, Pierce, I might have known that you would use this opportunity and interview and that this was your purpose, right? This is your purpose. And that's fine. This is your show and you can do whatever you like. You know, I could sit here and go on and fight with you about your strange, weird obsession with Meghan Markle, but I won't do that because that would be rude. But what I will say
Happy to if you want to.
We can do that as well.
Sure.
But the point being that I was very open with my employer at the time about what happened with that old site, which I stopped writing in, you know, before I even came back into the NBC family. And what I have not really talked about publicly, but what I can tell you is that I had a very legitimate reason for being concerned about it because I was also on the radio at that time. And the things that I was literally talking about on the radio were quite the opposite of the things that were in that site. That is the reason that we began investigating what was going on with that site. And there was also someone who I do not know, who I still do not know, who had login access to my site for years that we did not even discover because I hadn't looked at the site for years. I don't know who that is. I don't know why they had access to the site. But had I not been open about that, I would have been definitely fired or you know, there would have been some repercussions. I was open with my company about that. I've been very open. Everyone who knows me knows about it. And so if you want to argue with me about an old blog site, that's fine. And I'll take
I just asked you if you did write it.
And hold on. And I'm willing to take responsibility for anything that was on that site.
Did you
just yes or no, did you write it? This is all he's asking.
How for you?
Did you
but
say
hold
those
on,
things?
wait. Not to my listen. What I'm
Come
going
on,
to say
Joy.
is very
You
simply
said
this.
them.
What I'm going to say is
Come
very
on,
simply
you said
this.
them.
Here's
You know
the
you did.
point that you're attempting
You
to
just
make
spun
now.
me an absolute
No,
load of
hold on
old
a second.
flannel.
The reason that you are trying to go here is that you're trying to defend the idea that Moms for Liberty and these other organizations can take books that are not pornography, that are not pornographic.
I'm just
but
trying
that
to.
have
I'm just trying to
topics in
see.
them, but
I'm
that
just
have
trying to
topics
see
in
whether
them that
you
make
like to
them
hold people to
uncomfortable.
account,
And so,
and I'm just trying to ask
I held
you
myself to account for
questions
that,
about
and I
you being held to
apologized for
account.
everything that was in that site, and I took responsibility for everything that was in that site, and I still take responsibility for everything that was in that site. I find anything that harms the LGBTQ community that was in that site repugnant. I apologize for it. I take full responsibility for it. But the point that I made in my conversation with the woman from Moms for Liberty is that they are making themselves the expert on books, which they are deeming pornographic by using a site called booklooks.com, looking for words in the in the book that make them uncomfortable, and then attempting to ban books by the hundreds.
And out of interest, do you okay? But just to be clear,
And so I asked her,
do you think books? All right. Do you think school children at school should have access to books in their library which involve strap-on dildos?
Again, you're taking a book that has multiple subjects, and you're taking this award-winning book and dumbing it down to
I just asked you a simple question.
You may feel uncomfortable. And the bottom line is, these books that were published by publishers who had an opportunity.
To be fair, it's a very, very complicated answer. It's a very complicated answer. And I'm going to have to take a little time to kind of tell you how she should have answered it. And I apologize if this takes up a lot of time, but this is probably why Joy Reid didn't want to answer it in the way that, she should have answered it. So here we go. No. Thank you.
To say no. Looked at these books. These are award-winning books, and I think parents should have the opportunity to opt their children out if they don't feel comfortable reading those books, but that children who are old enough and who are of age and can choose the books they want to read and may feel seen in a book that you might object to ought to have the opportunity to read that book. That shouldn't be your decision. It shouldn't be Moms for Liberty's decision. I think each parent can make the decision for their own children, and I don't think that woman from Moms for Liberty or her organization should make that decision for other people's children. People ought to make decisions for their own children. And by the way, one more thing I'll add is that in the state of Florida, parents can opt their children out of reading books that they don't want to read.
All right, let me ask you.
She could have done that like any other parent.
Have you watched Brokeback Mountain?
No.
Okay. I mean,
what is the point of that?
Well, because you said I don't want to watch the two male characters in Brokeback Mountain having sex.
Okay, so what does me watching Brokeback Mountain have to do with that
Joy.
book? Whether or not it is
nothing to do with the book.
Joy, just go back to being based and you'll have a ton of support. Like, we all agree, nobody wants to watch that shit. Come on, Joy, just admit it.
Book, that is a book that people can have the opportunity to read if they so choose.
No, I'm not talking about the book.
I do not understand how an organization
I'm not talking about the book.
Make a decision. It is not about the movie. It is about whether or not Moms for Liberty.
I'm not talking about the book.
The organization who should make decisions for other people's children.
I'm not talking about the book.
Whether I watched the movie or not makes absolutely no difference.
I'm talking about you.
She is fucking panicking right now, dude. She has lost it. She knows that she's been exposed. She knows that the people that she has pandered to are now finding out that she said all of these things about them all of these years ago on a major show, and she is freaking out right now.
Posting on your blog that you wouldn't watch Brokeback Mountain because you don't want to see two male characters having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. Most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Your words, not mine, Joy.
And your point is?
That maybe that makes you a bit of a hypocrite when you're taking the position of being an ally for the LGBTQ community. And actually, the best way to handle it, I would argue, is just to say, you know what? Actually, I did write that at the time. They're not my views now.
No. You say, I said it. You know what? Joy, right now, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how. All right? I'm going to teach you how to win the internet. All right? So Piers is sitting there and he's like, did you say it? Did you say this? And you keep deflecting, keep deflecting. And then you go, you're goddamn right, I did. Boom. Jack Nicholson, you've got an epic internet moment. All right? Everybody said, hell yeah, Joy Reid is based as hell. That would be the greatest moment of your career, okay?
Involved, I've moved on. Trying to pretend even now that you didn't write it is preposterous. And I think you know that.
The bottom line is what I've said, and I will say it again, is that I take full responsibility for everything that was on that site. I'm deeply apologetic for the things that were on that site that hurt people, and I take responsibility for it because it was my site, and that's the end of that. And my views, as you know, and as I've said on television, on air, are quite different from the views that you just read, and that's the end of that.
Okay, let's just end with this. Not everyone was upset when you were fired. plenty of those white conservative men that you like so much seem quite happy. Let's just take a look at this clip.
Joy Reid, probably the nastiest figure on MSNBC. The most left, the most vicious against conservatives and white people and men and all the rest. She has just been canned, fired, kicked to the side of the road. Her show is over. This saddens me a little bit because I did not yet have the opportunity to go on it. I am celebrating that there is no longer a market for her disgusting product. That's what I'm genuinely happy about. There has been a major shift. Her show and shows like her show no longer have value. And that's not just because of Joy Reid's favorite villains, you know, the evil white man or the Christians or the conservatives. It's because like no one watches her show.
It's very
so
true.
Joy, I've actually got Michael Knowles waiting in the wings.
Great.
Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
No.
Dude, Piers is so fucking dirty how he's doing this. I love it. It's so good, dude. It's so good.
I've actually got Michael Knowles waiting in the wings.
Great.
Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
No.
What did you make of his critique of your show?
Well, I mean, the reality is that obviously people watched the show. And obviously, that's the reason that the show was on for 4.5, nearly 5 years. So if he didn't like the show, I guess, sorry you didn't enjoy it, but I really am not that interested in his views on it.
Okay, well, we've got Michael there. Michael, anything you want to say to Joy?
Yes, wonderful to be here, Joy. Very nice to meet you. And I guess I would agree with Joy's take. People watched the show in the past tense,
This is so
and now there's no longer.
This is so shitty of Piers to do this. Oh man. Oh, this is so fucking shitty, but I love it. She deserves it. She deserves
a market
it.
for that absolutely vile content, and I think that's good for the culture broadly. And now we can all chat on Pierce's show.
Joy?
The reality is, Michael, the content that you and Piers like to trade in is grievance. And the grievance that white Americans have, that they have to deal with.
I'm not American.
Diversity, that they have to deal with.
This isn't a grievance. I'm British. I'm celebrating.
And by the way, white grievance is very good for your bottom lines. It's very good for your bank accounts. And so having me here to be able to continue to traffic in that is your shtick. That is what you
first
do.
of all,
That's
Joy,
what you do, Piers.
I have to
And so
correct you.
it's great. And I'm sure you find it delightful and fun to say it. But the reality is, Piers, that is what you all traffic in.
I
It is
have
what
to correct
Fox
you.
traffics.
Well, first of all, I'm not a white American. I think as my accent may reveal.
Well, I know that you're European.
And I'm a tan
I'm British.
My only grievances are
And
tan
secondly, I don't think
I'm not a
anyone. Michael, I will let you respond, but I don't think any host in the history.
I love how Piers brings Michael Knowles on to ambush her, and then Piers won't let him talk. And now Piers is so fucking like, this is so out of pocket, and I love it. And now Piers won't even let him talk. He's back to going after her.
Of cable news. Michael, I will let you respond, but I don't think any host in the history of cable news has waged more grievance than Joy Reid. So the idea that you're now hectoring us about feeling aggrieved about things, you spent years being aggrieved about absolutely everything.
Excuse me, but your favorite president, the president who you completely support, is nothing but
My
grievance.
favorite
His
president was
entire
Abraham
campaign
Lincoln.
Was grievance. His entire campaign was grievance. Well, your former boss on the
I'm not
Apprentice, or
Donald
whatever
Trump.
you want to call him, your friend. The bottom line is that Donald Trump's entire campaign was about grievance. It was about white America feeling they'd lost their country and they need to take it back. It was about white America feeling that diversity was a threat to their children being able to go to Harvard. Their
And you know what,
grievance that
Joy? In
inclusion
the
and
end,
diversity was some
in
sort-
the end,
and that is the reason
and in the end,
that you all glom onto him
and in the end,
use him to further your own
Actually, in the end, most Americans, as you know, most Americans, having voted for him in 2016 And after Trump spent 4 years in the wilderness and we watched the Democrats run the United States of America, people took a look at that in America, and then they voted for Trump second time round in bigger numbers, including a record number of Latinos who, last time I checked, were not white. Anyway, Joy Reid, I'm going to leave it with you. Thank you for coming on Uncensored. Next time, I'm sure we can move on.
You didn't even let Michael Knowles talk, Piers.
From the stuff we've talked about today and have a more current debate, perhaps, about other issues. But I appreciate you coming on and facing the music. And it's good to see you. Thank you very much. Well, let me come. I've got Michael and Nina Turner.
Good old Piers. That was good. That was good. I had no idea he was going to do that. I had no idea. I mean, I knew Michael Knowles was on. So I figured the Joy Reid thing was going to be like 20 or 30 minutes. I had no idea. Yeah. Holy crap. That was good. That was really, really good. I got to show you guys something really quick because, again, we are dealing with the dumbest people in the world. Okay. So right here, I posted this. And then, so again, this is the level of stupidity we're dealing with. So this is my tweet where, the news of President Trump, ordering all of Jeffrey Epstein's grand jury testimony to be released. So I quote tweeted this. It says MAGA forever. Somebody then screenshots something that I have been talking about for over a week nonstop. And they said, "This you?" And I'm like, yeah. So I just responded with, yeah, I mean, of course it's me. The fuck do you think I've been doing for like a week? These people are fucking retarded. This you? Like, yeah, this is me. You fucking retard. This is the whole point. Make enough noise and get President Trump to realize that we're pissed off. God. Oh, the level of stupidity is out of control, man. Oh, God. For a month now? Have I been talking about Epstein for a month? It seems like it. But yeah. I mean, what do you expect? Stupid people. So your Barmy says, never name your kid Joy. I agree. Zeltroid says second payment installed. Bald. Thank you, Zeltroid. Where are we at? Eddie says Jeremy Gaze, get it right. Sock Man says, against my better judgment, I am cautiously optimistic. Probably talking about the Trump news. Let's see here. Buster Nut Smashes Joy Reid is starting to drift into Keith Olbermann territory. You're actually right about that. Steve from PA says Joy went from stealing Trump's look to stealing Hacksaw Butch Reid's also J tripped poo. Timothy Hallback says, what the hell is wrong with you? You get back to back 99s and 50s and you put that bitch on for 6 minutes. Pick a Sidney, Thomas, or Sweeney. No proper 199 soup for you. 2 weeks. Oh yeah, Fig. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Warbear says end legal immigration at least for a generation. Zeltroid says second payment installed. Bald. I got that one. Stephen Young says, hey Jeremy, I feel you would be an amazing inspiration for a healthy lifestyle. Keep it up, man. Hang on. I feel you would be an amazing inspiration for a healthy lifestyle. Keep it up. I mean, if you're saying I'm your inspiration, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily live a healthy lifestyle. I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs. But I don't think I don't know. I drink a lot of water. I've cut back on like soda and fast food recently, but I don't know. I could die tomorrow for all I know. But either way, thank you for the super chat. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, hey guys, I'm pretty late to the stream. Is there any good news or is it still just as bad as before? There's actually some good news. You're looking at it on the screen right there. So, let's see. Ministry of Wrong Thing says not having documentation when law enforcement asks you for it is a civil offense, but the act of crossing the border through unauthorized means is illegal. They're playing word games, propaganda. 100%. Absolutely. Charles Ratcliffe says, we need to refocus on what makes America great again. We are going to disagree, but we are still winning. There's more winning to come. 100% agree. Phil McCracken says, as a black man, I'm sorry for Joy Reid. Steven says, does Joy Reid say I'm a black person means that she doesn't know what her pronouns are? Lapco says, The Alabamian in baseball cap has been the latest tarded person on my screen for the last half hour. How the hell does that happen? Hail the 199. I know it's tough, man. Tough situation for all of us. Kappa G says, as a global South gay man, Jeremy, probably. Phil McCracken says, she's making my IQ drop, and it was already very low, which is why I watch you. This is amazing. This is an amazing comment. Holy shit. Woo! She's making my IQ drop, and it was already very low, which is why I watch you. This has got to be one of the best comments of the night right here. I fucking love the snake pit. I saw this one. Trump Tuber says, Jeremy, number 7 most super chatted channel in the USA for June. Number 7. We got to get those numbers up because I was second. I think we fell to 7th. Let's see. Wasn't I second the month before? No, I wasn't actually. Oh, it was the week. So, okay. So, yeah, the month before I actually was way down. So, so we were number 7. Okay. That's good. Not bad. I'll take it. Got to get those numbers up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Shadow says, why she look like a female New Jack? If you know, you know. I know. CG says, Joy Reid is a professional victim. No more, full stop. Everything is always the white man's fault. Accountability is the, what is that to her? What she wrote those things. Her skin color saved her, pure and simple. She 100% wrote those things. No doubt about it. 3412 becomes a member. Thank you. Sean Living Life says, just to be clear, Obama is half white. We black men whom Trump loves don't rock with that trans lover. Your Barmy says, this is priceless. Broke back joy. Philip Johnson says, Dan Vask once had to chase Joy Reid off. Oh, goddamn. Slain Hope says, this is why the files are so important. Pedos have become so comfortable that they're publishing this material openly and have it placed in schools. FG says, this the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. The guy says, hope I'm not late, but CBS just canceled the Stephen Colbert show. It ends next year. One less late night. You know what soon. Yes, we did. We covered that earlier. And we were over 3 hours. It's been a hell of a show, but we're going to end it there. Again, if you guys are not subscribed to my D-Day Cobra 2 show, any segments that you might miss will be uploaded over there. So if you have not, please go subscribe to this channel right here, and you will have all of these topics that I talk about on CobraCast uploaded over here. Channel's been doing great. So thank you guys so much for all the support over here. It's been a hell of a show, and there's a lot of talk. Been a lot to talk about, and I imagine I'm going to be talking about a lot more tomorrow as this plays out. So stay tuned here or to D-Day Cobra 2. And we will end. We can bring it back now. I'm done criticizing Trump for now. Okay? I'm done criticizing Trump for now. Laughing Man says, I'm not helping Jeremy anymore. Damn. Laughing Man's mad at me. And see, I even recognize that was you, even though your name is showing up weird because of the @ handles. So, but thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Hope you have a great evening. We'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.